Hello, everyone, and welcome to Texas Card House Dallas for tonight's final table of the big one. Coming at you from Texas Card House Dallas. You see the lovely skyline right there of Dallas on our beautiful queso table. Tonight's final tables, we are down to the last 9 players of 167 entries. Today's buy-in $360, creating a prize pool of $50,100. And we are down to our final 9. Looks like the cards are already in the air. This is going to be actually hand number 2. So the button started there in the 7th seat. And we are underway. And yes, right there, you recognize that mug right there. It's a special occasion as friend of the show, TCH Live's very own Eric Van Lusen there in the 2 seat. He has made it to this final table, coming in a bit short, but he's ready to rock tonight. And here we are in hand number 2, and Gino's looking down at a pair of kings.
7 raises to 55,000.
Mr. Nick here in the 8th seat. Having some freezing issues here. There we go. Looks like we might be back. Gino raised it up with those kings, 55,000. Nick's going to make the call from the button with that ace-9. So some pretty good action here already in just hand number 2 of tonight's final table. Gino going to continue with those kings on a 10-high flop, able to take it down, picks up 70,000 in profit there. Here we go. There's a look at those chip stacks. You can see that our man, EVL, is the short stack. He's in the 2 seat. He's coming in with 225,000. AJ, friend of the show as well. He's in the 1 seat there. He'll be a little bit short. Pooky, Pete, Nick in the 8. Andre, he's in the 3 seat. Gino, Rod, and the 5. Coming in as a chip leader tonight, 1.83 million. In the 5 seat, and that is Chris.
We were having enough talking on Saturday night.
We were having a lot of fun.
Raise, 3 raises to 40.
Hey, are we still doing jacks are better to open them?
All right, Andre under the gun here with ace, jack of spades.
That was fun.
He'll open it up, making it 40,000.
Gotta open it up.
And I believe that is just a min click here. I think blinds are starting out here 10,000, 20,000 with a 20,000 big blind ante. I am RJ Dupree in the booth tonight, coming at you from Texas Card House Dallas. Flying solo right now is my man Eric Van Lusen. Has made it through this large field to be on the final table, and there he is, showing up as EVL. He's the 2 seat. He will defend here from the big blind with King Queen. Off to the flop we go. We're heads up. Deuce 8-3, 2 spades, nut flush draw for Andre. Eric takes a glance at those cards, makes sure he does not have any spades in his holdings. Probably doesn't want one with the nut flush draw right behind him. Andre does continue here. That's 40,000. So that'll leave Eric pretty short there in the 2 seat. EVL needing to connect there from the big blind. So that'll knock him down to 165,000. But he did make it through the big blind there. Big blind awful taxing in this situation.
Well, the whole thing was I wanted to see my buddy Eric make the final table. So, and Strand's RJ.
Can't see exactly what those blinds are.
He's probably talking his head off anyway.
Scan your card.
Not yet. Oh, not yet. 10 more minutes. Oh, that's right.
I thought we were starting at 10,000, 20,000, but that did not look like a pile of 20,000 in the middle. Pooky making yet another final table appearance tonight. He's in the 9 seat. He's going to raise it up from the cutoff here with King Jack.
Commentary.
Well played.
AJ and Eric in the muck here, and Andre will
Heads up.
complete from the big blind. He'll see a flop with 6-4 offsuit. Ace, King, 6. King Jack lands here for Pooky. He will continue. Andre thinks about it for a moment, but he's in the muck. Nice hand there for Mr. Pooky.
She's listening.
Oh, you know she is. If she knows we're on, she's
Hey,
listening.
well, I just want to thank her, Andy, again, for my birthday Saturday, last Saturday. Taking everyone out.
Had a nice visit with AJ before tonight's final table, and he said his family might make an appearance here tonight to cheer him on. So he was excited about that. He is sitting in the 1 seat tonight. All right, Chris is in the muck. Rod is in the muck. Gino again with a large pocket pair here. He's going to open it up with jacks. So here we are in hand number 5. Gino's seen kings and now jacks. Nick thinks about it for a moment with his chip stack. He doesn't really want to mess with king queen right here, so he throws that in the muck.
Lines are up. 15:30.
All right, we're going to go to 15:30 now, so blinds are up.
Yeah, you're calling and you got 5.
Just going up. So now we definitely know exactly what the blinds are. 15,000 for the small blind, 30,000 for the big blind with a 30,000 big blind ante. And that's also good news in that we had the last level correct. So that's good. Crushing it. That's what we do.
Yeah, you'll catch him with pair of 8s every now and then, but not very often. Right.
Lines are up. 30,000.
All right, 30,000 to go now. Hand number 6. Still 9-handed at tonight's final table. Big slick for Pooky. He'll open it up. Definitely worthy of a raise. 70,000 to go now.
C3 call. Heads up.
Andre makes a call from the button with pocket 5, so we go heads up to the flop. Ace King versus 5s. 3, 6, 7. Pooky will continue here. Nice flop there for the pocket 5s. Andre will make the call. Deuce of diamonds on the turn. 5 still best and holding a gut shot to this middling to small board. Not Ace King's favorite here, but Pooky's going to continue. Bets 125,000.
Don't mess with her, man. She's feeling good. DJ, behave yourself. Give me your phone. Behave yourself, DJ. wasn't it? Or?
Oh,
RJ is going to be a proud daddy in there.
Ace of hearts on the river. Pooky. Mr. Doyle finally lands ace king. Had to wait for the river to get it. And this pot has ballooned up to 615,000, so it ain't no skinny rabbit.
Steve 9 bets 150.
River bet here of 150,000 into a little more than 600,000. So going for some value town here with that ace king. Of course, Andre hates this river. It's always a tough spot psychologically when you love your hand through the flop, through the turn, and see a river like this. Puts you in a little bit of a pickle on how the heck you want to handle it.
I've got actually a lot of nicknames. The best one, my favorite is Papa Giorgio from Vegas. Papa Giorgio from Lima. I got 2 kids. I'm in the software business and gambling.
All right, Andre thinks about it for quite a while and puts those 5s in the muck. Well done. Nice hand for everyone. Well played by both players. And Pooky, the beneficiary of that one. Mr. Coyle, friend of the show as well. That is the Mr. Coyle we see in the TCH Live chat quite often.
Yeah, that's rough when you see
So a lot of friends of the show here at the final table tonight.
5 in the window with an ace and a king, and the turn was a 5. I folded 5. Walter was all in. I'm like, dude.
You actually heard Gino mentioning to Eric during that hand that RJ is going to be a proud papa watching EVL at the final table tonight. That's right. Eric has practiced what I taught him very well, finding himself at a lot of final tables here lately. I believe this is the 3rd final table for Eric in about 2 weeks at some of these daily and weekly events we have here at Texas Card House Dallas. So he's been on a little bit of a tournament heater. Here we are in hand 7. Andre going to rip it with Queen 9 suited. He's in the cutoff. Back-to-back 5-4s here on the button and the small blind. Those are in the muck. Rod, he's 4 high. So Andre finds a nice spot there to rip it with Queen high. He'll take down the blinds and antes.
15, 30.
Here's a look at the payouts, what we're playing for tonight. Players are guaranteed locked up a prize of $1,345, but they're all searching for that top prize tonight, $13,465. So more than $13,000 up top tonight for the big one coming at you from Texas Card House Dallas. Hand number 8 of tonight's final table. No eliminations just yet.
Just need you to scan, Gino.
AJ looking down at the Montana Banana. 9 deuce in the muck. Our man EVL, suited ace. Early position here.
All in.
From the low jack, he's going to rip it. Ace, 5 of hearts, he's in there. A suited ace 5, definitely worthy of a rip here, and just rags behind him. We've seen rags in the blinds here on consecutive hands.
Take your $1,000 and help the other card. 5 of clubs. Or spades. $11,000 worth.
All right, so EBL picks up well-needed blinds and antes there. He's up to 230,000 now. Still below 8 blinds, so he's got some work to do over there in the 2 seat. All right, blinds 15,000, 30,000 here. Some more wheel cards. The wheel cards are out tonight. Pretty dusty in these holdings. Pete actually thought about a 7-6 there. Christopher in the cutoff suited queen deuce.
65 raises to 65.
Worthy of an open, and he will bump it up, 65,000. All right, Nick's got everyone's favorite hand to get in trouble with. He's got a Jack-10 offsuit. He wants to see a flop. He'll defend from the big blind.
He likes it when you throw $100 black chips at her, you know. Hit her with those.
Get me down to the end. I can make sure she gets some of that.
I'm not liking where this is going, you know.
Hey, you're not going.
And it looks like we are in a pause for a moment. There we go. Green light, ready to go. Heads up to the flop. I bet the 7 of diamonds is in it. King of clubs with the 4 of spades. No help here for Jack-10. Not a lot of help for the queen deuce either. Nick will check, and Chris will continue. Nick's in the muck. No help for Jack-10, so on to the next one we go. And we made it. A full lap of the button here at the final table. No eliminations. A couple of shorties here. Working those short stacks to hang around. Eric in the 2, AJ in the 1, Nick in the 8. Kind of in that danger zone. Pete over there in the 4 seat. Andre as well. Low, but not panicking just yet. Rod and Chris and the 5 seat and the 6 seat, they got a bunch of chips. AJ with the suited canooters, 5-6 clubs in the muck. All right, Pete. Pete thought about it on that last one, but he'll think about it some more on this one as he's now has ace-10 and does not want to mess with it from the low jack. His neighbor, Chris, to his left, has just a little less of an ace, but he will raise it up with his ace-9. Rod in the cutoff here, suited king-queen. Rod makes the call with the suited king-queen. Might recognize Mr. Rod, a cash game player from Las Colinas. He makes an occasional appearance here on the TCH Live final tables. Enjoys some tournaments from time to time. Good to see him make another appearance here tonight. There we go. Taking a moment here to get these graphics lined out, and I think we're close. So Rod did 3-bet there, indeed. So he bumped it up from the cutoff with that king-queen, and Chris will have none of it. We're going to see a 4-bet here. Chris is up to 250,000 with that 4-bet. Those red chips you see there are 100,000 each. The blue chips, 25,000. There's a good look at those chips. You can see the denominations very clearly there from that camera angle. We get a flop, Jack 3-4. It goes check, check here. 5 of hearts on the turn. We got a pot of 575,000. Check, check again. Queen of clubs on the river. That's going to give Rod the check mark. So we've seen a couple of spicy rivers here. Rod with a mini fist bump there. He loves it. Pot of 575,000, picks up about 300K in profit there from the chip leader.
Just ruins it when you can't look at the screen, right?
I'm like staring at him going, I know what they have.
Well, I'm not supposed to. Yeah.
I'm not playing. You guys come here often?
Good time hearing the crew pick on Eric and Gino keeping the crew lively up there. Always appreciate that.
3 rescan, please.
It is kind of fun when a crew gets to the final table that knows each other pretty well. So there is a little bit of chat for us to enjoy. All right, back to work for Chris. In the low jack now, king 9. King 9 off. He will men click it up. 60,000. Nice little frequency there from the 5 seat as Chris definitely leading the way and working here. Gino makes the call from the cutoff with king 10, and both blinds are in the muck. So you can see it doesn't take a massive raise to put a lot of pressure on those blinds. You can see just some needling raises, putting pressure on the blinds, back-to-back hands. Both blinds had to fold without seeing a muck or without seeing a flop, courtesy of the work Chris is doing there in the 5 seat. So Chris will continue here as we get a flop of jack 6-5, 2 clubs. Gino in a commanding lead here, dominating with his king 10, but going to be tough to know that just yet. All right, river the 3 of spades, a little bit of a small 4-liner out there. 3, 4, 5, 6 completes a spade draw. Gino has the best of it if we go to showdown, but Chris is going to lead out here on this river. Bets 175,000, and that will get it done. Nice job there by Chris. All right, Eric's in the big blind here. So the table playing a little bit passive right now as 3 players less than 13 blinds. 2 of those players less than 10 blinds. Right now, both those players are in the blind, small blind and big blind.
I know what y'all are talking about.
And of course, when you see that scenario line up like that, you can definitely apply pressure to those shorties in the blinds with just some small min clicks on the raising. But Gino's going to open it up a little stronger than that. He's going to raise to 80,000 here. Suited ace deuce. AJ in the small blind with his hand. Looks down at the AJ. Ace jack for AJ. Just a call. Eric in the big blind really wanting to see a hand, and he looks down at a 10-6 offsuit. One of those spots where you're getting an incredible price on your big blind. You're hoping to find something you can work with, and it's 10-6 off. So we'll go to a flop ace 7-4 here. No diamonds for Gino. Ace does land for both players. AJ with the commanding lead in equity. AJ checks. All right. Gino does make the all-in bet to put AJ at risk. AJ beats him in the pot, makes the call. So we have our first at-risk situation of the evening, but the shorty is in a commanding lead. AJ's at risk with ace-jack. Gonna need a fade a deuce. Or a running wheel now. He'll pick up some outs there for Gino. A 5 now will make the wheel. Ace on the river, no help for Gino. Ace-jack's gonna hold here, and that's a nice double up for AJ. So AJ coming into this final table here, kind of the second shortest stack. And we actually missed the first hand. He might have came in as the shortest, but he's been having to work here as the second shortest, and he gets the double up, so that'll move him up kind of to the middle of the pack. Our 2-seat EVL, the legend himself, Mr. Eric Van Lusen, in the 2-seat.
Still keep commentating, even though.
Maybe we mic you up. Just mic you up. Yeah.
Work on your reads without seeing them.
All right, hand number 13, tonight's final table. This is the big one coming at you from Texas Card House Dallas. I'm RJ Dupree in the booth. We are 9-handed. 167 entries today of this $360 buy-in. You can come play in this tournament most every Saturday. One of the finest weekly tournaments in all the land, a $360 buy-in, 30K guarantee. You can see we crushed that guarantee. All right, Chris opens it up here with 10-6 of spades. We're in hand 13. Rod, big 3-bet here, 265,000 to go now. Rod's got big slick.
Again, just make sure RJ got those. RJ got those.
Eric hit me up. Make sure I got it. I got it. It's the hammer for Eric. We saw 10-6 in the big blind, 7-deuce in the small blind. Running low on blinds. Never fun when that happens. The big 3-bet there from Rod takes that down. No resistance. And he is climbing a bit. He's getting close to Chris, the chip leader here. Chris a little over 1.7 million. Rod now approaching 1.7 million. All right, Chris going to open it up again. High frequency here of movement for Chris, keeping the line moving. I love it. This time he's got pocket 7s. Nick makes the call over there in the 8 seat with a Jack 10 suited. He's trying to get something to land over there. So he's starting to run a little bit low. This will put him just below 10 blinds here. Trying to get a pot here for a min click from the guy that's been opening quite a bit. He's in a decent spot if he can land it. Ace, Jack, 8. Nick does find a Jack, but it's got an ace with it. Chris going to lead out here. Ace on the flop. So we'll see what Nick thinks of it with middle pair. Lands middle pair, not able to go with it with that big ace out there, and throws Jack 10 in the muck. So that knocks Nick down to 295,000, just below the 10x 10 blinds mark. EVL over there in the 2 seat rocking with 155,000. So he's down to 5 blinds.
And how stiff the card you can't. You feel like you got to pull them up higher without bending them.
Hand 15 here at the final table of the big one. No eliminations just yet. Some shorties hanging on. Some big stacks working it. Rod's under the gun with ace-jack. He's got a big stack. He'll make it 65,000 to go. Ace 5 for AJ, ace 3 for Eric. Those are in the muck. Oh my goodness, we're on our backup system tonight, and I have not been able to check in with the chat. My favorite people in all the land. Goodness gracious. Dory Coyle in the chat. Jacob Thomas cheering on Eric. Dory cheering on her Pooky. Let's go Jim from Poker Monkey. Handsome Andy, I see it. Cheering on Eric, saying what's up, Duke. Hello, Handsome Andy. Let it be known that Mr. Adam was the first to like the stream tonight. Tay-Tay in the chat cheering on Eric as well. Welcome, guys. All right, Gino under the gun with that queen, jack, or clubs. He just calls. Eric doesn't go with that ace there in the 2 seat, so folds around to the button where Pete has a suited ace 6 of his own. So Pete makes the call here from the button with the suited ace. Chris been very active. He's got king 10 suited, and he will 3-bet it here. Finds a good spot to bump it up. Or pardon me, he's just a raiser. Chris facing an under-the-gun limper and a button limper. He'll bump it up, raising from the small blind here with king 10 of clubs. All right, finds no resistance. He'll take it down. Nice work there from Chris. So Christopher now back up to 1.94 million. So he is doing work from the 5 seat. Took a little bit of a hit where he lost some chips to Rod there in the 6 seat, but he has been back to work since then and on the climb. Dusty holdings here as we go around the rail. Hand 17. Nearing the end of our second orbit here tonight at the final table. Chris just calls from the button. Might be his first time to limp this evening. Rod goes along with it, just a limp from him. Suited ace 3 in the small blind. Gino checks the big. We'll go to a flop. Ten, 5, 8. Gino's going to flop a flush draw here with that queen 6 in the big blind. Not a lot working for anyone else. 6 of spades here. Pair for Gino. Flush draw now coming in backdoor style for Chris. Gino leads out with his pair. Chris just the call, 75,000 to go. 8 of spades, hello. Mama left the back door open. Chris is going to find a flush. Gino just holding a pair of 6s now. The 8 of spades does pair the board, so I guess Gino officially with 2 pair here. Checks to the button. Chris bets 100,000. Gino thinks about it a little while, and then he's in the muck. Nice lay down there. Definitely tempting, but finds a way to lay it down. Did not want to mess with it at the right time because Chris had the goods. All right, still 15,000, 30,000 here. Nick, one of our shorties, going to be in the big blind for this particular hand. All right, Pooky. With pocket fives under the gun, shows you what to do with those. Does not want to mess with them. It's always fun when you fold a playable hand under the gun and then you watch just everyone insta-muck right behind you. And everyone insta-mucked so much, indeed, that Nick gets a walk. Gets a walk in his big blind, and he was 5 high himself. Dust for everyone. All right. Our cards are not in a spicy mood just yet. We have seen a lot of numbers out there. Our man Gino in the 7th seat has seen kings and jacks. Right here in the cutoff, he's got a suited king 8. He'll raise it up. And Pooky in the big blind with a premium ace queen of hearts. There we go. Pooky going to bring the heat here. He'll 3-bet to 225,000. That's good for the win as Rod throws king 8 in the muck. Nice job there. Pooky. All right, Mr. Doyle on the climb there. He's up to 890,000. Jim Coyle, I think I said Doyle. Pardon me, Pooky. I'll get the alphabet right one of these days. All right, Eric's under the gun with 155,000. Blinds are going up. He's got a suited king, and he's not afraid to use it. He's going to rip it. All in with the suited king deuce. Definitely wanting good enough for a jam here under the gun. Trying to get it done before that taxing big blind hits him, but there's a big hand behind him. Andre suited ace-10 of clubs, and he will go all in as well. He's got a little over 11 blinds himself, so he's got some work to do. Now Gino in the cutoff with ace-jack, facing 2 all-ins. He didn't want to mess with it. He's in the muck. All right, so it folds around. So our man EVL, Van Lusen, going to be at risk here. He's going to need some help. King deuce of spades versus the ace-10 of clubs from Andre.
I can't call that when you jam.
Shout him out, chat. We're going to need some spades or king deuce. And We get a flop of jack, 6-4, 1 spade, 7 of diamonds on the turn. No help. Eric down to a king or a deuce, and it's an 8. No help for Eric, and that will be our first elimination of tonight's final table, but a big howdy and hello and a shout out to our man Eric Van Lusen for finishing today's big one in 9th place, prize of $1,345. And my man Eric Van Lusen, back to work, has joined me here in the booth. What's up, buddy?
What an idiot, man.
That guy in the 2-seat.
Golly.
Tell you what.
I tell you what, we had a lot of fun today. Ran good early in the tournament. And, you know, you want to run good at the final table, and that just wasn't happening for me. Obviously, I missed my spot with those pocket threes, dadgummit. But that was all she wrote today, and I had a really good time. And awesome guys on the table with me, too. Just getting to the final table was a task in itself. So had a lot of fun today. And we're going to go on to the next one, though.
Well, heck yeah. Well, congratulations to you. Usually we have to say congrats to the player as they're walking off the stream. But tonight, it's fun for myself to be able to say congratulations to you as you're in here. Nice job today. Well done. I know it wasn't the big prize you were looking for, but it was fun to make an appearance. And by golly, you win the bet as far as of all the guys of who's going to commentate whose final table first. Nice job, man.
There we go, man. Yeah, fun to see some of those hands. Obviously, I wasn't very active in a lot of those because I was card dead, but the one that Gino just played with the Queen 6 when he had the pair of sixes and a club draw and it went backdoor spades, he definitely was talking to me a little bit about that walking over here. That one hurt him a little bit.
And we are back to action here, and we've got action. Chris raised it up there. Pooky is on the button with a pair of 10s. Chris flops open-ended draw here. So he's going to need a 4 or a 9 to make it straight. 10s are still best here for Pooky.
Yeah, Jim, not a believer. Just the one over out there.
Jack of clubs here on the river. No help for Chris. He's stuck 8 high.
It gives up.
Check, shuts it down. Pooky's going to win here at Showdown.
Big old juicy pot there for Pooky.
Yeah, $600,000 in it. About $350,000 in profit. Well done.
Yeah, a lot of us, obviously, I was the shorty, but a lot of guys, you can tell, you know, still 10 big blinds. Nick, you know, dwindled down now, you know, under that. So it's
yeah, Nick's
make or break here pretty soon.
Right,
for
Nick's
a lot of
been
these
hanging
guys.
on there in the 8 seat. AJ got the full double up he needed when he was down super low. And so, yeah, Pete approaching danger zone here at $315,000, and he's in the big blind.
Shout out to Gino, though. He did bust our bubble, so he got us to the final table.
Well, there you go. Nice job, Gino.
Yeah, they were kind of rooting me on. They wanted to see me on the stage with them, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, imagine.
They're big fans. You know, most of these guys are. They watch. You know, Andre, AJ.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Gene.
It was pretty cool that today's final table has a lot of friends of the stream on the final table.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat that you made it while some of our friends are up there as well. So that's cool.
Yeah, everybody here at this final table has made a final table. As far as I know, except for maybe our 4-seat.
Mr. Pete?
Mr. Pete.
I feel like I've seen Pete.
He may have.
I feel like I've seen Pete on the stream.
But obviously the rest of the folks are definitely
But,
regulars. Chris has been really making some good runs lately in our tournaments. So
It's kind of hard for me when I see these players around both rooms all the time. And so they're obviously familiar to me. So sometimes when I see, like Pete, I know I've seen Pete around. I know I've seen Pete do well in tournaments, but I can't remember if it's particularly on stream or not. I feel like he's been here before, but I don't know.
a lot of these players, too, are gearing up for Vegas and the WSOP coming up.
That's
I
right.
talked to a lot of folks that are, you know, getting their practice in now.
Yeah, Vegas is on the mind. We have to run out to Vegas just for 2 days of shenanigans. I hear they still do that in Vegas. Andre on the button here with a premium ace queen of spades. Bumps it up to 80,000. Min click here.
Getting called by the 4 tray.
Yeah, blinds are up 20,000, 40,000 here. Chris going to defend with that 4 tray, and whoa, mama. We get a flop of 5, deuce 3. Middle pair and open-ended for Chris.
Does not want to hit 2 pair. It's a little more difficult, RJ, when you're on the final table and you don't get to see the opponent's cards.
Right? I think I heard Gino picking on you that for a moment.
Dadgummit.
All right, Andre bets 75,000. Just a call here from Chris. Pardon me, it is not just a call. He has indeed ripped it. I wondered if this was going to get spicy, and indeed it has. Chris check raises for the all-in with that 3-4.
Goodness gracious.
So, Andre going to be at risk here. Chip leader Chris coming after him with the middle pair and an open-ended draw. Jack of clubs, no help for Andre. Going to need a queen or a 4. Ace of diamonds on the river, so that'll make a pair for Andre, but a wheel for Chris. And that is run good from the chip leader.
Yeah,
And that
Chris has a bunch of those red chips.
And that will
they're going to
knock
count
out.
to make sure, but pretty sure that is a knockout punch delivered by Chris to one of our best in the room, Andre. I know he's about to make a run out to Vegas for a couple of weeks, so congratulations, Andre, on your 8th place finish, even though you knocked me out. Always a pleasure seeing you on the final table.
Well, that made him a couple $100.
It sure did. He made a couple $100 by knocking my ass out. But
Nice job, Andre. You get a prize of $1,565 today. Now the players 7-handed are locked up. A prize of $1,740. And just like that, we are now 7-handed.
yeah, shout out to Andre. Good luck out there in Vegas. Might see him in the room a couple more times before he heads out. Not sure when he's heading out, but he definitely said he's going to play some of the smaller events, try to bank one of those, and then maybe make a run at the main event. But there's a bunch of great tournaments out there, the Colossus and the Millionaire Maker, so good luck to all those who are going to be out there.
That's right. And you guys let me know when you go to Vegas so I can play at some of these tournaments around here while the Sharks and the Studs are out in Vegas. Maybe I'll have a shot.
Absolutely. All right. Pete wasting no time now that he's got a couple of ladder ups. He's got the ace-10. Super short stack on the button. Pete's from the Decatur, Texas area, and he works out in the oil field out in West Texas. So we had a good chat about that. Hard-working man, blue collar. Trying to get him a little tourney score here. Chris is going to make the call, so he's going to try to knock out players back-to-back here.
All right. Pete's got the advantage equity-wise, but he's at risk. Ace-10 versus King-Jack. Here we go. Jack on the flop. It's Jack high. Jack 7-4. Ace on the turn. We've got a suck and a resuck.
Pistol Pete.
Ten of spades.
How about a 2-piece just for S's and giggles? Nice hand there. Much needed for Pete, who was really going to have to pick a spot if he didn't get that one, but he goes with the ace-10 and gets rewarded. Not much of a hit, though, for Chris, as he's got such a big stack right now, $2.26 million. Next closest is our 6-seat Rod, followed by Pooky.
I heard that Nick noticed that turn came out to save Pete there. It's always fun when the shorty's keeping an eye on those turns and rivers when they're not in it. Come on, baby.
Absolutely. I said good luck, but I really don't mean it. AJ with the 9 Triz, famed hand of our buddy Aaron McAvoy.
Money McAvoy.
I asked Aaron for some advice when I was hanging around that money bubble, and he said, "You've made it this far, man.
Grip it and rip it.
Just keep doing your thing."
Do your thing.
sometimes that's all you need to hear.
I made a comment earlier that I was really proud of you that you've been, taking the work I taught you, and you've been at like 3 final tables here lately. And
It's been a good tournament month. It's been a good tournament start of the year for me. A lot of cashes, but yeah, we want to bank one of these big ones.
Right here, I'm sorry.
And the even bigger one is coming up at the end of this month. So
that's right.
250K guarantee,
Might see
multi-day
Might
tourney.
see either one of us in there piddling around.
Absolutely. I know there's going to be a lot going on with Memorial Day coming up this month and all the stuff going on in Vegas, but we do guarantee that 250K, and let's hope it ends up even bigger.
Crush it. Mitchell A in the chat. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I usually don't either. Not when I don't mean it.
Yeah, I try to stay away from a lot of the weird sayings of poker, and one of the ones that drives me nuts that I still can't totally shake is like when it comes showdown time, and I'm like, oh, you probably got it, and then they're like, oh, well, I got a pair of 4s, and I'm like, oh, I got a pair of 5s. That's such an awkward moment. I hate saying stuff like that at showdown.
I hate it when we turn over the cards and the guy looks at my hand and sees it's a little better than his, but there's still more cards to come, and they say, "Oh, nice hand."
Oh yeah, that's a.
I'm like, you
that's a
son of a
dagger
gun!
right
It's
there.
not over. It's not over. Jinxie.
Just straight dagger.
Jinxie needs to be slapped.
Back to the action. Chris keeping us on our toes here. He's going to raise it 80,000 from the cutoff. Yeah, some of our favorites in the chat cheering you on, Eric.
Well, I do appreciate all the support.
Cool Hand Coop.
It was a lot of fun.
Richard Greenberg made an appearance on the final table last week, I believe.
Mr. Boston, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Nick over there, Nick and I have been chatting quite a bit lately, and he's trying to get as much practice as he can before he goes to Vegas. And
Nick
he told me
Nick and I have been visiting quite a bit.
He's got a lot of vacations planned, and he just won a trip to Mykonos from his company for just being such a badass that he is, and he can't go. So I said, well, it looks like I'm going to Mykonos. So I got to get my passport ready. Nick, when you do check in on the stream later, remember that you promised me.
That's right. Well, I have a passport ready to go. So,
the Greek Isles or whatever
if you
it's
have
called.
any issues, my passport's ready. Doesn't have a single stamp on it, but it's ready. All right. Chris in the hijack now. He's got ace-10. He'll continue putting the work on these fellas. He'll open it up. 90,000 to go here.
And let's hope Nick doesn't choose to do what I did with my suited king turd.
Yeah, he's in a different spot than you were. He's going to get a lap of the button after this hand.
I looked down the king of spades. Came to the 3 of spades. I was like, king 10, king 9 even would have been nice. Something connected.
Yeah, I think right before you come in here, Nick took a fun spot there, kind of from the low jack, I think, against Chris's raise with a jack-10 of diamonds. And Chris's raise was pretty light. The jack-10 of diamonds landed middle pair, but it had an ace out there. And Chris continued on the flop, and Nick wasn't able to go with it. But it was, I like the idea of trying to get in there, one last cheap time for a min raise. And it was just a little off. Back to the action here. Hand 28. Pete's got a big one. Looks down at pocket kings.
Pete's got a big one, huh, RJ? We've not said that.
That hand is a big one. Eric.
All right.
I like kings.
I like kings. Goes with just a min raise and a tickle. Gino somehow knows that ace-10 currently is not good. Gets out of the way.
Yeah, he had to throw ace-jack in the muck earlier, and now he's throwing ace-10 in the muck. Find some better spots. Kings versus 8-9. We get a flop jack-jack-8.
And Pete should get paid here.
Yeah, Chris has been pretty active here, but pot and pair on a paired flop is Not the most desirable thing to have, but it is something.
He's going to want to try to deliver a knockout punch. Want to maybe some backdoor clubs or straights.
6 of clubs, never easy.
All in. He's got a pair and a flush draw, so I imagine he's just
Yeah.
going to get the count and then look his neighbor up.
365,000. Kind of right at half pot here for Chris.
Yeah, and he's probably now kind of sussing this out, thinking this smells like an overpair. Club blocker. Let's see if blockers are real, RJ. Going to need to dodge a 8 or a clubby.
All right, Pete's at risk. Kings versus the 8-9 of clubs. Crispin running with a little fire emoji over there in the 5 seat. But he's in a tough one here. Going to need to find an 8 or a club.
Pistol,
Queen of hearts.
Pistol Pete. Going to get a nice double up there. Much needed. And looky there, he's now over the 1 million mark.
There we go, 1.1 million. You know what we call that pot. That's a big one.
That's a juicy one. That's a healthy little unit there.
Nice job. So that'll put Pete in 3rd position in chip stacks here. Sneaks up there right above, or at least right with Pooky. AJ, Gino, and Nick. The shorties. Nick on
Yeah, Nick's starting to feel that
full
pain.
life support over there in the cutoff.
Feeling that pain that I was feeling. Having to put 80K of your stack in when you've
Yeah.
you got under 200. Yeah, I like the way he played that. Didn't just rip it pre. Got some good value, and obviously got the all-in. And Nick is going to go with the suited Canooters.
Suited Canooters in the cutoff. Let's go, Nick. 5-4 diamonds. He's ripped it.
Got to get through the blinds.
Obviously, he'd rather just not have to see a flop here, but and he's going to find a good spot to do it. He's got it through.
Got the walk earlier with the deuce 5 of
That's
spades.
right, he did.
That's running good right there. Got some free hands coming.
I think the last. Well, it was the bigger one.
Yeah.
When I played in the bigger one, I had to jam with some suited Canooters, and I got looked up, and we whiffed.
With a lot of.
Yep.
All right, got another shout out for Gino. You know, Gino was going to make an appearance in here in the booth, and
That's right. He's
if I did-
busy.
yeah. So I think a lot of the folks out there were actually rooting me to bust because they didn't want to listen to the wild man. I said, well, that's not nice. Now, Gino's been in the booth before. He's a lot of fun. Always got to root on Mean Gene. How are our Dallas Stars doing? I'm looking over at your beautiful sweater, which
Yes,
is green
thank
and
you.
has stars.
I broke out the Stars sweater tonight, trying to get the boys to pull it through. Game 6 in Dallas tonight against the Jets. Looks like we're tied.
We are tied, but my Texas Rangers did beat up on the Astros.
Rangers beat up on our friends from Houston. And the Jets and Stars are tied at 1-1.
Yeah, they got one more game tomorrow at noon. Right now, this series, it's 2-1 good guys up here in Arlington. T-minus about 10 seconds before Lego chimes in,
That's right.
wearing that bright orange.
I mentioned that it was the bigger one that I played in, but it was the 10-year anniversary tournament that
That's
I
right.
played in. That was the one where we had to jam it with suited Canooters. Pete, turn those things in.
Pete, got to get rid of your cards.
He's got kings again. This time he's on the button.
Where's he been hiding them?
He's going to make it the same bet he did last time, I think, 85,000.
And I know it was the king of clubs last time. I'm not sure if it was the diamond, but nice to wake up with that hand on the button. Looks like a little bit of thievery, and Rod says, well, I'll call for just a little bit more.
That's right. Rod going to defend his big blind with that 7-8 offsuit. Ace, 10 deuce, 2 hearts.
And Rod shouldn't have too many aces here, just flatting there. See if Pete takes a stab. He's going to check back on the button. Ooh, spicy little card there.
Hearts here. 6 of hearts going to bring in the gut shot for Rod and a flush draw.
Rod picking up a lot of new outs.
All kinds.
What is it? I thought it was over 50.
And only 2 of them are shadowed out, which is kind of rare.
So that'd be 5, 3, 6, 5, or 6, 8, whatever it was.
I don't know if it's bullets or if it's just the buying.
All right, Rod does lead out here. 115,000. Your opponent could be scared of that ace, could be scared of the hearts.
Oh, he's going to let that one go.
Pete doesn't want to mess with it. No heart. In the muck for the Kings, and nice hand there for Rod.
We obviously see the cards, and all he's seeing is his opponent showing a little confidence on that turn card, and just decides, I'm just going to let this go.
Yeah, right. It is so weird, like emotionally in here in the booth as you see the cards. You try to react as the player possibly would. Try to think what they're thinking a little bit, but man, it's so different when you see it.
Yeah, a lot of times, too, if you're one of the shorter stacks and you're fresh off of a couple really big wins, double ups like he just had, you just feel like, man, is this the one where I'm going to get stuck, you know? And
Right.
you just wave the caution flag a little bit and maybe pick another spot.
Yeah, really no harm, no foul there.
Yeah, minimal loss.
He lost 2 blinds on the deal, so.
And with kings,
C5 raises to 100,000.
Although it would have been nice to get that cheese back, but no problem.
Gino, frustrated, you can tell. Shout out to Brandy, doing a great job of dealing.
That's right, Miss Brandy in the box tonight, keeping us together.
Notice the guy that busted ninth and was card dead still says shout out to the
That's right.
dealer who's doing
Man,
a great job.
Well, I mentioned earlier that really the cards, those first 2 orbits, Gino had jacks and kings,
I heard you say that, yeah.
and then
Wonder
other
what
than
he's-
that, those
wonder what he's
first 2
playing.
orbits were just
Yeah,
52 optimal was not entertaining us at all. It was 9 high for everybody.
yeah. I was dealt those pocket threes and just didn't go with them, and we saw how that worked out for me.
Yeah, I wish I may have been blabbering or something when you had the pocket threes. So I don't remember exactly what the
think it was a
scenario was.
3-6-7 board. Andre and
Ooh,
Pooky got after it. Pooky ended up hitting an ace on the river, but
that's
yeah,
right. Okay, I remember that hand.
my
Yep.
set of threes would have held.
Yep. So yeah, Pooky opened up strong right in front of you, and you didn't want to mess with the
And
threes.
I think Andre had 5s or something. He had a pair
Yep,
himself. Yeah.
you're exactly right.
Yeah, so he had some outs because there was a straight possibility.
3, 4, 6, something like
Something
that
like
on the
that.
flop.
3-4-7 or 3-4-6. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool hand.
Yeah, Laurelette, that is a good-looking hoodie that Jim's rocking. Like those colors.
I mean, Jim's a good-looking guy. He can rock
Yeah.
a lot of cool hoodies.
AJ, little card dead.
He has been, yeah.
He has not gotten involved in many hands at all.
Just hanging out over there.
Got a couple ladder ups, though, courtesy of Mr. Chris. And, of course, Andre, who knocked
Yeah,
me out.
laddered up twice, got the
Yeah.
double up, so he's got a little bit of momentum over there. He'd
All
prefer
right.
some better cards. Gino's going to rip it.
Ooh.
Nick's going to rip it. Pookie's got ace-9 himself with 2 shorties in front of him.
And they're standing up shaking hands, and Jim's like, well,
All right, I won't mess with it.
King 10 versus the Ace King. So it looks like Gino is at risk. Nick will be left with scraps.
Yeah,
If he's
battle of the shorties here.
But Mr. Mean Gene is at risk. Back-to-back final tables for Gene, so great job regardless of what happens here. Got it in with the best he's seen this orbit.
Both friends of the show. Both running short on chips. Somebody's going to get to continue with a little bit of juice. Jack 6-9, no help for Gino.
More outs.
Ace King still best.
Oh,
Queen ball
my
on the
goodness.
turn, and that's a gutter ball for Gino.
Holy Gino.
King on the river, no help for Nick now, and Gino survives his King 10. Bust up, big slick.
So did he actually have Nick covered after all? He did.
Let's see here. Yep, he
Yeah,
did. So
he
that
did.
that will be an elimination.
They were dead even. Dead even,
Dead
okay.
stinking even for Gino and Nick there, and that will be an elimination.
Jacob clarified for us there in production that they were dead even. And that is a busto for Nick, but congratulations. 7th place.
7th place. Great run for Nick today. 167 entries, outlasting 160 players. So he'll finish with a prize of $1,740. And he's getting primed up.
Yeah.
Go to Vegas and stack some more chippies. All right, we're 6-handed now. Players locked up a prize of $2,005. Sweet run, Nick. I'll see you shortly.
I can't call there because you moved on the button. You could have had anything. But yeah, no, you were. I should have jammed on the flop. My hand was so big, but I was trying to suck you in. It did not work out well.
All right, Mr. Gino, he's still with us. Kicking and scratching, not going away yet. He's going to raise it up.
Same King 10. He liked so much last time. Now he just gets to put in a normal raise. Doesn't have to rip it. And AJ is just like, what is going on?
Yours is a little taller than mine.
Looking down at that 9 triz.
9 triz and
No, not yet.
and only about 10 blinds. What exactly are what are these blinds up to?
No, they left.
I was gonna say, okay.
Yeah, AJ's family came in. I was going to try to.
Did you get to see them?
Yeah, I did. I
He
did.
told me they might come in.
They did just for a little bit, and I was going to try to meet the wife and kiddos, but didn't get to. They were out at a family dinner.
And he mentioned that they haven't been in the card room before. And
Yeah.
And how intimidating it is for like newcomers to see
Right.
a poker room and stuff. My sister is very much one of those people. Like when she's in a card room and looking around, she's like, "Oh my gosh, this place is so crazy."
Let's go, birthday boy. What's up, John? That was a week ago, man. That's old news. Hey, birthday month? Okay, I like that.
Birthday month for, last week. Final table. Wild final table for Gino.
Pooky on the button. Ace, queen of hearts.
Saw Dory out there. She was playing in the tournament with me earlier. She was on his right. We had the gauntlet. We called it the coil gauntlet.
There we go. All right, AJ's in there. He's got pocket 9s facing the button raise from Pooky. So AJ's going to rip it.
He's going to have to get through the Pooky gauntlet here
300 exactly.
with the Gretzkys. There's just something about that ace-queen that players just don't love, right?
Slows you down just a tad. You know you're doing it, and it still slows you down just a bit.
Tiny Perry
Oh,
says.
pardon me, it's not ace-queen. That's
No wonder.
another scenario.
There we go.
Yeah, it's ace-7 for Pooky. So AJ's going to be at risk. He's got pocket 9s.
Little card read error. That
He's
makes sense now.
facing ace-7.
And there you go. It gets corrected on the screen by the production team. A7 versus the Niners.
Man, Jacob in there popping the buttons, making things work tonight.
Oh, set of 9s.
Top set for AJ. It's a good flop.
That is not a backdoor that is available for.
Not one of them. Check mark
for
on the
Pooky.
turn. Set for AJ. Little run good over there in the 1 seat. Another double up for him.
Yeah, he improves from the 9 triz to the pocket 9s. Flops top set. Full double up. He's now got 680K in his stack.
Lines up, 25.50.
Why did they leave?
Our man Bart Bogard in the chat, cheering on Jim and Gino. What's up, Bart? Let's go, Jim and Gino.
All right, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, it's tough for them. But they wanted to come at least say hi.
Yeah, well, that's nice.
Dory, I'm happy you said that I can call him Jim as well. Because I've been calling him about 16 names today, so I appreciate that. It was bugging me.
We're leaving day after tomorrow for 3 weeks.
I asked Jim. I said, Jim, I bet you're happy that she's on your right when she was sitting on his
Right.
right. He didn't want Mama on his left.
Yeah,
Dory is a
that's right.
stone cold killer.
Yeah, let her do her thing, huh?
Self-proclaimed, but it is the truth. Stone cold killer.
All right, Rod with a suited ace-7. He'll raise it up, 120,000. So Chris has been in chill mode here for a little bit. As
We've seen him defend with all kinds of hands, including the 3-4 earlier that knocked a player out.
yeah, now we got a king of spades and a 9 of hearts. Flop is Jack, Jack, Dewey.
The Choctaw Nuts has landed.
Pump fake.
Burn is off. There we go. How about another jack?
There we go. Trips on the board. And a 9
Ooh.
on the river, and that's going to bank it for Chris. Rod's going to be happy to show ace high to no avail as the 9 got Chris there, and Chris going to take down a nice pot.
Yeah, definitely a spot he probably needed to put some money out there. If he didn't make it big enough, the king 9 may have called anyway. But maybe a little missed opportunity there, but no harm, no foul. Doesn't bet the river and get jammed on, so. Nice.
Derby D in the chat. What's up, donkeys?
Nice pot, though, there for Chris. He's now back over $2 million. Feeling good.
I think Derby D is going to have to come up with a bumper sticker that says, "Sup, donkeys."
Sup, donkeys.
I'd
He'll do it, too.
I'd rock it.
He'll put it on a hat.
That's right.
He's got some funny gear already, poker related.
50 to call.
Bruce Parker telling you can call him Seamus.
Samus?
Seamus. That is an Irish name.
Oh.
A couple of Jack 9s. Pete waking up with the Dallas Cowboy wide receiver special, the famous 88.
Pocket 8s for Pete on the button this time. And, of course, last button, Pete had raised it up with kings. So this time he'll raise it up with 8s. Rod again defending from the big blind with king
Ooh.
7 this time. All right, pretty friendly flop here.
1-8 is gone.
Both.
And Pete doesn't want to hit an 8 because that would give Rod a straight.
Do I need to call John?
Rod has not acted yet.
Don't do anything yet.
I think Pete may have thought he checked to him.
Yeah, Pete may have acted there before he was officially supposed to, so we're trying to get that corrected here, I think.
He's first. He didn't do anything, and he bet 65.
Okay, yeah, so Pete did bet there from the button.
Action's on you, Renee.
This is bet stand or?
If the action doesn't change, the bet stands.
Now the action has changed because the
Yeah,
action is on Rod.
Yeah, and Rod just threw out some chips. I don't know if he was intending to call or bet there, but
Yeah, Pete could have come over the top there.
yeah.
Open ender now for Rod. Another spot for Pete, just like he had with those kings. His opponent is now betting into him.
And Pete,
Oh, goodness gracious.
Pete likes his hand, but again, that one over. And now we're going to get a 4-liner out there that Rod just happens to bank. So Rod's got the 7 here. He's got the goods.
And that is a third of what Pete has left, and he's sick to his stomach here, going, what is my opponent got this time? Made me fold my kings last time, and now I've got to fold my 8s.
Ah.
This time, though,
Yeah, a little.
Spidey senses were correct.
Yep, Spiny senses on the mark, but a little turbulent there on the button. You wish either one of those could have gone better for him. Nice hand there for Rod, though. And he's climbed up to nearly 1.9 million. That's good enough for second in chip stacks. So he's got it on the up and up there in the 6th seat.
You want to put a little bit more in?
Can I get,
25. Not 5.
Brady says, you want to put a little bit more into that small blind? Yo, just a little more.
Just a little more. Got to keep digging, sir.
We're now at 25.50.
C5 raises 13.
Shout out to my H-Town girl, Miss Lindsay Lorio. She's joining us from Houston.
What up, Houston? Sorry we got you today in the baseball game, but we're still friends.
She's a little fair weather Astros fan. She's a Nolans girl. She likes them Saints.
There you go.
She likes talking trash about my Cowboys during football season.
Yeah. Those Louisiana girls will do that.
But she sure is purty.
Ace 3 here, no help for either player. So we've got a 10 high from the button, able to continue, taking it down for Chris. Still finding good spots to keep the build going there.
And shout out and prayers to Mama Lorio, too.
Indeed, mamas make the world go round.
Indeed.
Eric, I'm at an 8 now.
Uh-oh. Gene has announced that he has reached level 8. That is an inside joke between he and I, and actually Pete knows the joke too, so can't spill the beans.
Level 8 for Gino.
Yeah, Gene's head's about to explode is basically what he's telling me.
He's warming up.
He's warming up. You got this, Gene. Cool heads will prevail. Well, here you go, Gino, waking up with a suited ace.
Suited ace 4 for Gino in the small blind. It's folded to him.
And looks like jammy jam time for Gino.
Waste no time, jammy jam.
Did he leave a chip or two behind?
6, 7 raises. I gotta tell him how much it is.
He did. Survival.
I think that's a card protector. I can't tell. All right, whatever it was, Gino's going to pick it up. I think that's a card protector back there. So I do believe that was an all-in. Looks like a cash game chip possibly from the old Texas Card House Dallas. Hand 41. Tonight's final table, this is the big one. Texas Card House Dallas. That beautiful queso table with the skyline of Dallas on it. You see the reunion tower right smack in the middle above the word Texas. I just gave a wonderful shout out to the beautiful queso table with the skyline of Dallas. Can't make up a color and not roll with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. One of the players, I won't tell you who, just made a little appearance at the door. We had a little birdie knock on the door, and I got a little insight to the future. But I don't know all the deets, but we got some fun stuff coming.
Yeah, occasionally that'll happen in the booth. We accidentally get insights to the future once in a while, and
we don't love that because then we know the future.
Then we
and
don't.
What
get
fun
to,
is that?
Yeah,
we don't get to sweat with all of you folks, but
usually they don't give it away the entire story, so we're still able to sweat it out a little bit. You know what I mean?
it also helps when I come back in if I don't put the headset on backwards because I felt like a special child.
I was not going to tell the world that you did that. I was, I'm here for you, buddy.
My sister's been telling me that I'm a special child my whole life. Rude.
All right, Chris Raises it up here. 10-8 of clubs under the gun. So, of course, as the table gets smaller, under the gun gets a little better in position, but we're still, what, 6-handed right now? So, yeah, under the gun officially becomes the low jack at that point. He raised it up with the 10-8 of clubs. Rod will make the call with king-9 of hearts. Pete in the big blind trying to decide what to do with 7-9 off. Thinks about it and then mucks it. So we'll go to a flop. Heads up. Chris and Rod are 2 chip leaders. Hello. Flush for Rod. We get a jack 8-6. It's all hearts. Second nut flush here for Rod. So let's see how he will play in position here. Chris leads out 100,000. Rod does not waste time. He wants to get some chips in there while he's got the goods. And might it entice someone with middle pair to hang around? It does not. Chris is in the muck. Nice lay down.
No wonder I busted out 9th. The link that I posted was not the correct link, or it wasn't working, so.
Yeah, and we had some.
I think we restarted.
We did.
Yeah, there we go.
So I wondered about that on my social medias, if my link was working or not, because we did have a little bit of a restart right there at the beginning. And we missed like the first 15 seconds of hand number 1. But feel free to go to the Dupe Show, by the way, on the Insta social medias. I do try to share when we're in here rocking some of these final tables and cash streams on Tuesday nights and let you know what's going on in the TCH Live world. The Dupe Show, DOOP. Feel free to come by and say hi. All right, AJ's got ace-10 of spades on the button.
Yeah, that's weird when I'm texting it to people. It's working, but when I'm posting it on the face crack, it doesn't want to work.
AJ raised it up and took it down. No resistance there. Nobody.
Last time I bluffed was like in 1987, 88.
That's a bluff right there, AJ. He says the last time he bluffed was in 1987 or 88. You weren't playing poker back then. You were just a wee lad.
I think mine was 015, AJ. 015 for me.
015, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Is there a 2 and an 0 and then a 15?
2
Okay.
and an 0 and a 15.
It's one of the Oklahoma
That's
counters.
right. I say it like that, then you stop thinking about the bluff. All right, Gino. Ace Queen under the gun. Rip City. All in.
170 folks watching on the YouTubes right
There we
now.
go.
And we only got 22 likes.
Make sure you're smashing that like button, folks.
Smash that like button.
All right, Rod's got something to think about. He does have an ace, but he's going to let it go. Ace Queen for Gino. Picks up blinds and antes.
My first card was pretty. King of spades. Nothing behind it.
We got another Papa in the chat. Robert sitting here watching my son Chris play some poker. Welcome to the chat, Mr. Robert. Christopher's doing a good job tonight, and he's been on the chip lead most of the evening, but just recently he has dropped just a smidge behind Rod as the two of them have a great percentage of the chips here in the 5-seat and the 6-seat. Everyone else going to be battling it out here for a few moments.
I needed something to play with.
AJ makes a call with Queen 10, trying to sneak a limp in there. All right, seat 5 makes the call here. So Chris from the button He also rolls with the limp with the king-9 of diamonds. Gino in the big blind, he's got ace-jack. He's going to rip it. He's all in now for $625,000. A couple $100,000 out there.
Yeah, another jam from Gino.
Definitely worthy of a jam here in this spot.
All right, Eric, I'm doing my stand-up.
Gino's talking to me. He's hot. Stand-up equity for Gino. That is a card protector he's playing with, I do believe, over there.
All right, Chris makes the laydown. He's in the muck. Now it's off to the small blind where Rod has queen-jack, and queen-jack doesn't want to mess with it. Fist bump there from Gino, and he got rid of his card protector.
Looks like it was a couple of chips.
It was.
He dropped a couple chips in Ruben's box there. That was the dealer that was off in the background. Shout out, Ruben.
Yeah, and I thought that was a cash chip there, so I wasn't totally sure, and apparently it was. Just gave it to Ruben.
Yeah, like you said, Robert there in the chat, cheering on Chris. I had the pleasure of playing at another final table a week or so ago with Chris, and then I saw him make another one, and here he's making another one. So, Chris,
And the lovely Vicky in the chat. What up, VV?
shout out VV. Thank you for the kind words.
Sugar Mama cheering on her kitty cat EVL.
Making me blush.
I don't believe that.
That bridge I said, dude, you think I had threes there?
I don't believe that.
Gino trying to see a cheap one here. Pooky gonna let him. Club on club crime here. Could get dangerous.
6, 7, 8. Pair here for Gino. Open-ended for Pooky.
Yeah, dangerous without the clubs. Just one club, but
Yeah, and a club here on the turn makes things spicy.
action flop.
All right, Gino leads out.
See the equities there, 53-47, pretty
Pooky
even.
makes the call. Ace of diamonds here on the turn.
Gino goes a little bigger. No, still smaller size, 70K.
Yeah, a little bit of a scary card, but there
Ooh.
shouldn't be a lot of aces in the holdings here. It's just a
And wow, Pooky, a non-believer, doesn't think his opponent's even got a pair and just rips it on him.
As I was mentioning, there shouldn't be a lot of aces in the holdings. Pooky agreed with me, and he just goes Rip City. Take her down.
Nice hand there from Big Jim. I'll get Gino getting those fists ready. he's hot, but he's still alive. 6 of our finest out of 167 entries today on this final table.
All right, Chris going to open it up, ace-9 off. Rod in the muck. Gino almost in the muck. He's got 10 and a 3. It'll be there soon.
Yeah, a couple of shout-outs in the chat after that play by Jim there. Lane and Mr. Bill Burford.
All right, Chris finds a spot there. Take down blinds and antes. Let's see, Gino is up for a moment. Let's see, I think he's up from the table.
Might have just stepped off for a second. He probably didn't go too far. There he is.
There he is. There's them flippy floppies.
Flippity floppies. Lego. Finally, the stream is correct. Got that link finally posted. The one I put up earlier was busted. Rubber match tomorrow. Los Rangers and Los Astros. Pookie's going to rip it.
I hear it all in.
AJ seeing the suited king turd, the one I had to rip with earlier. Very similar hand. He's going to let it go, though. And Pete with the 4s. His pairs are getting smaller and smaller. He lets those go.
So it looks like what I shared is the old link.
Yeah.
And when we had to fire it up again, so that's like shipping with suited canooders and you get a ace, queen, 10 on the flop.
Staying away, huh?
Whiff City.
Yeah, no, I see her over there. I was
Standing
sitting
up
by
and
her.
looking.
Yeah, but she's not up here watching. She's like, nope, nope.
All right, back to the premiums here. Kings making yet another appearance, this time for Gene. He hasn't seen those in about 43 hands. So he's going to raise it up. 125,000 with Kings. Chris in the big blind, pocket 9s. So yeah,
Oh, all
I
in.
was going to say we might see some action here as Chris may take a shot at Gino.
We're never folding kings.
Let's do it. Kings are in there for Gino. Chris put him in with pocket 9, so Gino's going to be at risk.
Hand number 49, Mean Gene at risk. Kings versus 9s. Yeah, 1.37 milli.
There we go. Yeah, Gino's worked his way up a bit. He's got enough over there to do some damage.
Can the Kings hold? You can see they are miles ahead pre-flop.
Here we go. Gino and his Kings. Chris and his 9s. Gino at risk. 9 in the window, followed by a jack and a deuce. That's going to be a set for Chris here. Now, Gino going to need to find straight cards or a king. We do get a queen here on the turn, so 10s.
10 is a live out.
10s are live. 3 of clubs. No help for Gino, and the run good. The fire emoji continuing in the 5 seat. Chris finds a set of 9s to eliminate Gino.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. Well, Gino's at a level 10 now. 10 out of 10.
Level 10 indeed. The steam is
coming out those ears, but Gino is going to finish in 6th place.
6th place for Gino. Sweet run. And got to love the pain as well. That's what we love about these poker tournaments.
Taking home $2,000 for his efforts today.
Well done, Gino. We'll see you again very, very soon.
And the hootin' and the hollerin' I just heard out in the room is because our Dallas Stars are victorious.
Victorious.
In overtime, 2-1.
Got the overtime netter.
Go Stars, go. Just got to have those magic fingers sometimes.
I guess.
Got it to go away. Yeah, we had our screen stuck. Pete is all in with the suited Jack 3. He's just having to rip it with a hand like I did earlier.
Back to action. Rip it, Pete.
Works for him.
Got it through. Well done.
Well done, Pete. Much needed chips there. We are down to 5 players out of 167 entries today. Everybody's got $2,415 locked up, but they are all shooting for that top prize of $13,465 smackaroonies.
So that net finder there for the Stars, by the way, is a series winner, and we're headed to the Western Conference Finals, right?
Yes, 3-2. Is it a 5-game series?
No.
I'd be lying.
Am I crazy?
I think it's just the TV.
Huh? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, it just didn't put it up yet.
Yes.
They were up 3-2.
Yeah, that should be a series winner.
Series clincher. AJ doesn't like those 4s.
Those little pairs are tough.
Pete likes the ace deuce suited. That's a little upgrade from the Jack 3. Christopher's holding that Jack 3. Offsuit variety.
Jack 3, Jack 6.
More chippies for Pete. Says, I don't need pocket kings and pocket eights. Just going to keep ripping it with these suited holdings. There we go.
Yeah, Bruce in the chat. Yeah, that was a series winner. I'm not crazy. I did sleep in today, so it threw me off a bit. But
Lego, you are correct. It's not a rubber match. Good guys are up 2-1 right now on those Astros.
what?
So Astros are going to try to tie this 4-game series. Sad I didn't get to go to one of these games while they're here. So great day for DFW Sports. Stars moving on. And Los Rangers got a dub today. Bats finally woke up. Rematch from last year, indeed, Bruce.
All right, Pookie's going to rip it here. He finds a fun spot from the small blind, suited ace-8, facing a button raise. And he's ripped it for plenty of chips here. 770,000. Picks up 225,000 there for Pookie.
And picks up the button as well. And blinds are going to be up now. Thought they were already up, but they're just now up to 25, 50, 50. Okay, they are up to 30, 60. There we go. There we go.
Trying to find that myself. 30,000, 60,000. So that big knockout there from Chris put him up to 2.75 million. So he's back up there in the penthouse with a commanding chip lead.
Yeah, and Pete and AJ have 10 blinds or less, and they are in the blinds currently. Wow, look at these dusty holdings. 5 deuce, 7-3. And yeah, that's definitely one Pete was probably going to go with there. Queen Jack suited. The Poker Atlas Tour is going on down at our sister club down in Houston, Texas right now.
That's right.
It started on the 14th, it's going through the 26th. They're having 16 events. I was down in Houston for a quick work trip, and I just didn't get away. They had me tied down the whole time up near the Woodlands, so I didn't get to go down there to Houston proper and fire anything. But shout out to all our Houston friends down there. Anybody playing at the Poker Atlas Tour Series going on in H-Town?
That's right. I saw TCH Houston was showing some of the final table news and some of that good stuff there on their social medias today. So I was trying to keep up with a little bit of it.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of their opening event. I think they had a pretty good showing for that opening in the Poker Atlas Tour. I think we're just 10 days away from our even bigger one. Couple
Even
Saturdays. Yeah,
bigger.
a couple Saturdays from now, our 250K guarantee. Chris in the small blind has a king 6 suited. He's going to put the pressure on Rod there. And hello.
Definitely worthy of an open, and he's going to find some company. Rod's got Cowboys behind him.
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed some of Rod's openings. He likes to make them big. And how about 500,000 on top?
He will bring the heat. Yeah, earlier he had ace king, and he brought the heat on a 3-bet, and this time kings brings all the heat.
Yeah, so next week we'll have our normal 10 a.m. 30K guarantee, just like this one here. But starting on the 27th, that following Tuesday, the even bigger one for 250K will kick off. That is a $300 buy-in, multi-day tournament. Lots of flights for that booger. And then we will do a live stream.
So there you go. That
on
starts
Monday.
The 27th, 10 days from now. Be here before you know it.
C4's all in.
All right, Pete finds a spot to rip it. 610,000. He's in there. King, queen. AJ, little card quiet over there tonight, but he's hanging around, but trying to find a spot.
In the last 30 minutes.
Don't think he would mind if he saw these cards, knowing that he's live, but he has been just super card dead aside from that double up he got with the pocket
Yeah.
nines.
Yeah, he's found two different streaks where he was incredibly card dead and doubled up, incredibly card dead and doubled up. So it's keeping him around, but he's ready to get something going over there.
Got all the bad cards out of the way now.
That's as we mentioned.
Did you see the spirit fingers? he
That's
just-
right.
Yeah, spirit fingers for AJ. Getting all that bad juju out of the way. Bad cards no more, he says. Somebody's got to tell him, RJ. There's no such thing as bad cards. There's just bad flops, bad turns, and bad rivers.
Bad dealers. Wait, no, don't
No.
pick on the dealers.
Never.
And of course, I can say that because I've been called a bad dealer about 1 million times in my life.
Probably a handful of times in the last week, I bet.
Oh yeah, yesterday.
All right, king, queen suited here for Christopher.
Raise it up, 130,000. Yeah, Chris just having a ball over there. Fun little run for him as he's getting some hands to open up with and keeping things moving. But AJ,
Spirit fingers activated.
spirit fingers worked. He's got big slick now. Facing the raise of a
And look on his hat. He's got the ace of spades on his hat and the ace of spades in his holding. Rip City.
yeah, king queen opens up the
Oh, a lot of aces were gone
betting.
too.
and you have ace king in the small blind. Pretty fun scenario here for AJ.
Can he survive
A third time. Looking for that third double up here.
Captain Knockout? Seat 5, Christopher.
I know none of you mean that, but okay.
They all told him good luck. He says, I know none of you meant that. You don't really mean it. You want me knocked out of this sucker. Here we go. AJ at risk.
Deuce 3-7. Two clubs, no spades. Ace of clubs, only, let's see,
That's it.
not even the queen.
That's
That's
it.
a check mark for AJ. That's lock her up. Another third full double up for AJ. Nice job.
I already looked at his cards, so
That is brutal, Lego. Ugh.
I told you, I got out of
Yeah, those are the kind of spots that just make you want to stop playing for a minute, but we are gluttons for punishment, and we just keep firing away.
That's all right. You're going to catch a run of those here soon. Turn it into real money.
All right. Big old double for AJ. He's now got 880,000. Pete's our short stack now. Just a smidge over 10 big blinds.
Yeah, still rocking 30,000, 60,000 on the blinds.
Did we ever establish what was bigger, a smidge or a scotch?
We did, but you didn't pay attention.
All right. Well, just a smidge over 10 big blinds for Pistol Pete over there. AJ could see the cards. He might rip it again here. He's got Jim dominated here. A couple players left to act behind him. Elects to just call. So Queen Jack versus King Jack. And both players land.
A jack. So, could see some action here. Pooky's going to jump out there, leading things off with a bet of 175,000.
Players have pretty close stacks here. They're going to play a big one, I have a feeling here.
Yeah, and AJ also holding the king of diamonds, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Just a call. Definitely some scary cards that could come out here on the turn.
That's one of them. The Queen of Hearts on the turn, and that's going to be top 2 for Pooky now.
From dominating position to way behind. 8% equity now for AJ. Just a gross turn card.
Pooky reaches for more chips. Bets 300,000 this time.
See if AJ can get away from this. He's got 3 outs. Jim just hit a 3-outer on him. Two of our favorites are battling it out right now. Hard to put him on an overpair like kings when you're holding one in your hand. He's like, what beats me here? And he comes to that conclusion that Pooky is strong. Great fold there by AJ. Dodges a big old bullet there.
Yeah, Pooky come out swinging on the turn there with good reason as he connected top 2. AJ sniffs it out, and he's in the muck.
Is that I made a good fold? All right, top 2. You beat top 2. You're not thinking about it.
Jim lets him know he had top 2, so probably a little vomit in AJ's mouth right now. He's like, are you kidding me?
Son of a gun.
And now he wakes up with the old 10-5. There's a saying about that hand, isn't there?
10-5, Dewey. 10-5.
Got to have a 10 or a 5 in your hand to make it straight, don't you?
That's true.
Yeah.
That is the saying.
Somebody out there in the internet world is confused right now, but think about it.
Pete has ripped it.
Got to have 10 or 5 in your hand to make straight.
That's right. Give me a deck of 52 cards. Let me take out 8 of them, and you won't be able to make it straight. I'm going to take out all the 10s, all the 5s. You can't make it straight.
And there's our 15-minute delay. You're now hearing the hooting and hollering that
hooting and hollering
15 minutes ago as the Dallas Stars won in overtime.
That's right. Moving on. Western Conference Finals against those Edmonton Oilers who took out Vegas. Lego, you keep playing good. We're sending you some
good juju.
Spirit fingers right now.
Yeah. AJ's going with the Spirit fingers again, ripping it with the A7. That was a hand I looked down at a time tonight and just didn't go with because I was like, I got to find a better spot. And I didn't, damn it.
Yeah, sometimes the better spot doesn't show up, which is pretty rude of the game.
I should have done the Spirit fingers.
Yeah.
All right, couple of players still in that 10 big blind range, but double up from having a pretty good stack here. Chris just at 2 million now. And it's not going to slow him down from raising with the Queen 6 offsuit.
He's got the cutoff, and he will use it.
Ooh.
Bumps it up. Pooky doesn't even want to mess with ace-10 here from the small blind.
AJ looking down at the old mumbler. Little death stare across the table. Nothing you can do there with the tray 5.
Cook County Mumbler, not what you want to see in the big blind when facing a raise, when you need a hand. I think that second orbit tonight of the final table, you had some scenarios like that in the small blind and big blind.
I did.
And just look down at dust.
Absolute basura,
and
trash.
So you get to, before you look down, you get to have that moment. You're like, oh, baby, I need something I can play
Wake up
here.
with it. Wake up with it.
Yes, and then beep, 10-6. All right, suited ace-5 here for Rod in the cutoff. Makes it 150 to go. There you go. They're hand for hand in the night tournament.
Yeah.
The evening tournament out there. Saturdays. Great day to come play tournaments here at Texas Card House Dallas.
Yeah, you can fire at this bigger one, and if you bust out, you got another shot after registration closes in this one to jump in the 175 buy-in. That starts at 4 p.m. That is a $15K guarantee, and of course they always crush that as well.
Pretty good value there for $175 Saturday evenings here at Texas Card House Dallas.
That's like a night on the town, taking out a nice lady. That's why you and I have been taking them to Sonic Happy Hour these days.
I was going to say, we're supposed to spend that much? Oh,
yeah.
This explains a lot.
Sonic Happy Hour. They love that crushed ice.
That's right, they do.
That's where we take all the hot dates. That's probably why we're still single.
Pete
RJ.
rips it. Gets queen 4 through there. Gets it right around the queen 5 of Christopher.
I think there's a name for the queen 4, too.
Couple. Quite a few, I think.
What's a queen 4? Clearly, you and I don't know. Good thing we're not on camera.
No saying nada, man.
No saying nada. Shout out to all the folks in the chat cheering on your friends and family members tonight. Of course, all the folks that rooted me on earlier as I was trying to make a deeper run in this final table. Thank y'all for the kind words. Pete has found another spot to get it in, this time with the Gretzky hand. Is that my man Zeus? Who's coming in here?
Yeah, Chris saying both my blinds got picked on. But Chris has done a good job picking on everybody else's blinds, so he can't complain too bad. He's still in the penthouse with the chip lead at $2.1 million. Rod at $1.8 million. Pooky's worked his way up to $1.3 million. Pete and AJ battling it out, looking for a double up.
Oh, man. Well, shout out to excellent dealer there. Great job, gal.
Nice job, Brandy.
And the Zeus is loose. That is my man Zeus hopping in the box. Y'all are in for a treat. The way he slings these cards.
I think Eric knew I was about to say Brittany accidentally, and so he had to help me out. Nice job, Brandy. Great job in the box tonight for her and Zeus.
We have senior moments every now and then.
Oh, a lot. Bringing in the closer. Zeus is in now.
Plus, they go with the hunt the big chip.
5-handed.
Spiritual Ninja bagged a 25K today as the chip leader. Day 2 is tomorrow. Well,
let's go.
Congrats on that. That's a cool name right there, baby. Spiritual Ninja. And Christopher going to take it down. Shows that ace of clubs. That's the one jam I did get through tonight. The ace-5 suited early on.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was red, I believe diamonds.
Hearts.
It was hearts?
It was hearts.
Golly.
So at least I can say I actually won a pot on the final table.
You did win a pot.
Atlantis and Reno. Heck yeah. Shout out to our friends in Reno. We had Miss Mallory, who puts together our Tuesday night live stream. Tournament crusher herself. She was playing on a live stream out in Reno with Randy 3 Coin and our friend and pal, Jessica Richardson, gorgeous.
That's right.
Didn't get to watch it. I don't know if they already put that out or if they were
Couple of-
just recording it, but shout out to all our friends out in Reno.
A couple of big names in that stream as well. So, yeah, I look forward to getting to watch some of that.
Raise.
Pooky's got kings. King's the hand of the night.
Puts in a healthy raise, a 3-bet to 500K.
Against the chip leader.
Should send off some alarms when a big 3-bet is put right into you. Player doesn't care that you've got all the chips.
Yeah, Spiritual Ninja mentioning that Helmuth was there. And, yeah, we saw him in some of the pictures.
Yeah, I did see that. Philly. Oh, and you know who else I saw in the pictures? Mr. Mike Matisow, the mouth.
There we go.
Remember when he used to tease Phil, call him
Yeah.
Philly? Those were the days, man.
So hopefully they're still giving each other a hard time on set, just
Yeah.
for funsies.
And speaking of our live cash stream, we'll have a fun one on Tuesday night. They are going to be boozing, I heard. A bunch of fun friends of ours are going to be playing on Tuesday night in a 5-5 game.
We're getting it turned up Tuesday.
Turning it up.
Nice.
Oh, Panda, you dirty dog. Calling me pocket threes now because I just don't know how to play them.
And hand 68 here. Under the gun for Chris. He's got jacks.
All right, he's heating back up. Yeah, that was a tough one to watch early on there, Mr. Johnny. Got two options when you're short with those little pairs. You either rip it or you get rid of them, and I chose wrong.
No sweat like a small pair sweat at the final table.
And even a walk now for Christopher is that is the real run good.
Blind still 30,000, 60,000. We are 5-handed here.
Well, we appreciate it, Panda. Sad you didn't get to deal to me today. Saw you out there. Doing your best out there in the room with that fresh haircut. Johnny Rod, one of our favorites.
Indeed.
Check.
Rod lands the best of it here.
Decides not to bet. And these two are just going to take it to showdown, it looks like. Double down hand, the 7-4. Going to get her done. And who is our shorty now? Is it still AJ over there? Yes, indeed. He's got 405K in his stack currently. Gonna need to find a spot here pretty soon.
Shout out to the 405. AJ's got 405,000. And he's got pocket eights.
That's right.
Definitely good enough for a rip here. He's under the gun.
Pete getting some love there from Bart De Soma. Said, "Vamos, Pete."
Vamos, Pete. Indeed.
Wow. Chris going for the knockout punch with the
Chris
ace
doesn't
9.
just call. He wants to isolate with that ace 9.
I told you. Zeus is loose, man. He awesome dealer.
Anybody want to wish me good luck?
I said go up.
All right, AJ at risk. Oh,
Finds an 8.
top set.
10-8-4. Officially middle set, but he'll take it. And a 4 on the turn, and that should lock things up.
The house is full. Went from 8s full of 4s to 8s full of 10s.
All kinds of full houses out there. And that is double up number 4 for our man AJ.
Can't get rid of the man.
Try to double me up. Okay? I genuinely, truly.
Alligator boots are on tonight.
Got some red chips in his stack now. The big dogs, those 100K chips. Well, we got 5 players left. Now's a good time to ask, how many hands is it going to take us to get down to heads up? What's the over-under, gentlemen and ladies?
And we finally have an appearance from Aces. Pete.
Pete doesn't need kings or eights.
Vamonos Pete in the chat right on time. He's got aces now.
130.
The Redbirds feel like, ooh.
And AJ in the big blind with ace, queen. So AJ's going to rip it after his 4th double up. And here we are in the big blind with ace, queen. He's facing a raise. He rips it. And Pete's got aces.
Runs right into it. AJ going to need all kinds of help here. Pete has got him crushed.
6, 4, 5, 2 diamonds. The only diamond is for Pete. And that
That's a
should
wrap.
lock it up. Pete's got this one locked up. Finds a full house on the river just for funsies. But that
Just for S's and giggles.
is a big hand for Pete. We're going to do some accounting here to make sure exactly what happened.
Showing AJ to have just a few chips left. Couple of blinds. Big old hand for our man over there, Mr. Pete. Right on time, his buddies joining the chat. Watch their man take down a big pot. He's now up to 1.6 million. And AJ's going to have to put some of that out there as he's in the small blind now.
Yep, leaves AJ with some crumbs, down to 140,000 remaining. And that is good enough for 2 blinds and a tickle.
Right on time. Look at that. Pete's got the fans joining us in the chat. Jorge
That's right.
Ariola saying, "Get him, Pete." Getting a cheers from the beer and a fire emoji. Yeah, like I said, I had a good talk with him out before we started the final table and talked a little bit about the oil field. And he was excited to be on this sucker. First guess there for West Wing Handyman. 122 hands is the over-under,
Woo.
he says.
All right, AJ's got a suited ace here in the small blind with just a couple of blinds in his stack. So he's going to rip it. Suited ace, deuce of diamonds.
And here's that kind of,
Pete will make the call there on the 2X all in. Rod will make the call as well.
should see the little bit of the kind of understood collusion, not intentional, but players are going to try to knock out the shorty.
King 8-9. No help for anyone yet. King pairs the board. Rod's going to have the best hand with the 4s.
Fours are going to hold, and that is going to do it for our man AJ. Great run, finishing in 5th place, 24-15 for his troubles today.
Heck of a run from AJ. We're proud of you. Congratulations for that 5th place finish. And a shout out to AJ's family. We know they were
Absolutely.
keeping an eye on him today, so hopefully they're getting to watch as well.
Said they got a vacation coming too, so he's going to take that 24-15 that he won today and probably spend it on mom and the kids.
There we go.
Super dad, AJ. Great job, buddy.
Nothing wrong with that.
And we are down to 4. Players got 3,100 locked up now. And we're going to see those big old pay jumps coming here shortly.
Yeah, 3130 locked up. The next one after that is 5150. So it is time to make some real money here. Still chasing that top prize of 13,465.
5150, you say? I believe that's a Van Halen album, if I'm correct. Sure is. I'm not smoking crack. That is the one right after
5149.
1984. They came out with 5150, and that's their first album with Sammy Hagar. 1986.
All these numbers.
Oh, and you got a last name like Van Lusen. You got to know Van Halen
That's
trivia.
true. Kiwi special in the chat. Hello, Kiwi.
Shout out to David Lee Roth, wherever you are. Thank you, human.
75.
It's good for weight loss, I hear. Stay off the drugs, kids.
They're hitting us with some big over-unders today.
Over under 182.
122, 182.
I was looking that up like, what album is he talking about now? But no, that was the over under.
Apparently they don't want us to get home at a decent hour. That's all right. We're here for you. We'll be here until this party ends. Deuce 310, the flop here at hand 76. 9 on the spade's going to connect for Rod.
125.
Bets out 125 here. Should be enough. Pooky in the muck.
All right, everybody is over $1 million in chips. Rod now, chip leader. Pretty fair fight amongst these 4 players now.
Raise. 150.
Christopher going to take that one down with the queen tray.
All in.
Alright, sir, let's see. No.
All right, Pooky rips it from the button here with the suited ace-10. No resistance. We're 4-handed here. So under the gun is now the cutoff. So you're either cutoff button or in the blinds. And the players have made it to break. So we're 4-handed and we've made it to break. Chips, blinds will be going up.
Yeah, just a quick break. I don't know if they'll take the full 7 minutes, but players can take a little bathroom break if they need to. RJ, let's look at. We looked at your queso sweater. Let's look at your Dallas Stars inspired sweater this week. Can we do that?
Why, sure.
Looky
There you
there.
go.
Look at this sucker. RJ with the swag. I'm just rocking, the home team
right.
here at Texas Card House, but
Trying to get the boys through tonight.
Dallas Stars. We got the Stars. Man,
Got it done. Well done, Stars.
good looking son of a gun right there, isn't he?
And I get to break out my sweater again in the Western Conference Finals and the NHL Finals.
He just winked. RJ with the wink. Ladies, he's single, and he will be out at the pool with me this summer, but RJ will be rocking
I've
that.
already been at the pool.
Are you going with lime green Speedo now that since the Stars are in the Western Conference Final? We were rocking the
Yeah.
tangerine Speedo before, but lime green Speedo, ladies.
Yeah.
RJ Dupree. He's single, ready to mingle.
And the queso Speedo.
That just sounds gross. No queso in the Speedo. Might need to get that checked out. All right, Zeus getting them cards correct. The players are going to chip up, come back from a short break. Oh, Pooky there. Jim says, I don't need no break. I'm here to win this sucker. Reminder that the Poker Atlas Tour is currently going on down in Houston. You want to get on the TCH website, check out the schedule of events. There were 16 events that got kicked off on the 14th. It's going to go through the 26th. We've got our normal tournament schedule here at TCH Dallas, and of course our sister club over in Las Colinas. And then starting on the 27th, RJ, we mentioned it earlier, the even bigger one, the Mas Grande, $250K guarantee. That is a $300 buy-in multi-day tournament. There'll be several flights that you can get into that booger. Normally there is a double bag bonus in that, so we'll probably have that flyer up on Tuesday. RJ and I will be back on Tuesday night this coming week for the live cash stream. It's a 5-5 game with a bunch of our craziest, normally 1-2, 1-3, and 2-5 players. They're going to ratchet it up a little bit more.
Play some 5-5 and try to entertain the masses, huh?
And they said you have to be boozing it up on this Tuesday stream.
I'm
I
out.
know our buddy Scott Herbertson's daughter is going to be playing on that. 3Coin may even join us for that one. So that ought to be a fun one.
So it's going to be a party.
Yeah. Maddie Delka and I know Cody will be playing and McFish, so it ought to be a fun one.
The Cody. You will not want to miss that.
No, he will.
Chips will be flying.
He will stack a whole table with an ace-deuce offsuit. You better believe it. Shout out to Cody and Matt and Mallory, of course, for putting that together. Hit us up in the chat. We've got 3 minutes, just under, before we come back. Four-handed.
I just hope our beautiful queso table makes it through Tuesday.
Yep. This is what we're playing for here, folks. Fourth place, the next man out, 31-30, followed by 51-50, 87-35, and, of course, big enchilada there up top, $13,465. I could do a little damage with $13,000, RJ.
That's a lot of Mama Rosas.
Yeah. That's just 10x what my prize was. Look there, down there at the bottom, $13.45.
That's right. Shout out to our man EVL, Eric Lusen, finishing today's tournament.
And shout out to our
in 9th place,
our man in the production room who won the same thing I won in like an hour out there.
Right.
1-2. That sucker. Jacob.
Little 1-2 stack. 1-2 stacks here. Do not mess around at Texas Card House Dallas. You can make some cheese.
He doesn't even realize I'm bragging on him.
Just playing 1-2. He's having issues punching buttons over there, trying to keep up with the table.
Well, I was just bragging on him. He's in our production room, and he got to play a little cash before and ran up a nice stack. Cash games are popping out there, and, of course, they should be at the final table at the evening tournament as well.
It is a wonderful Saturday night here in Dallas Card Rooms, Texas Card House Dallas here. Banging a lot of energy out there, plenty of cash games going, 1-2. The big PLO games are going.
They are down to 13 players in that one, in the 175 deeper stack, 15K guarantee.
Yep.
Everybody is in the money, and looks like, let's see what top prize is for that booger.
So 175 entry.
5205. They're down to 12 players now. 5205 is the top prize, and I'm looking at the killer, Mr. Arnie, over here at a table. Good luck, Arnie.
Little over 5K up top for a $175 buy-in. Las Colinas, by the way, packed full tonight as well.
Absolutely. I bet there's 27 tables going right now at Las Colinas.
They don't mess around.
41 seconds left in this break. Yeah. How about a vanilla latte, RJ?
Got you.
You got any tipping chips?
Yes.
I got some cash on me if you need it. All right. All right. Zeus has got those cards ready. Players are coming back to the table. This is our final four out of 167 entries. Like I said, they're all playing for over $13,000 for first place. That'll probably get you about a 1992 Corolla these days. But plenty of money to play with. Go take a nice vacation. And this is, of course, off of a $360 buy-in. So really nice prize. This is a tournament that we do every week here on Saturdays, except for when we have special events or our end of the month, even bigger one. So this coming one, you should see a 50K plus first place prize. Even bigger one that's 2 weekends away. I'm going to see if I can go back-to-back final tables next week, playing this one again. Maybe make a little deeper run than just 9th place.
Raise, 150.
Pete's back in action, though, with a Jack-10. And Christopher in the small blind got a suited ace. He's going to make the call. And 7 deuce does what 7 deuce does. Gets out of the way.
Check.
Check from Christopher. Let's see if Pete puts out a continuation bet. He does. Wow.
180.
Christopher coming in with a raise. And nothing Pete can do with the Jack-10 but fold. You got to play back at him or get out of the way, and he chooses to get out of the way. Nice hand there by Christopher. It looks like we still do have the 5K chips on the table. We just colored up some of the players that had obnoxious amounts of them. Really was Christopher.
$150.
And Pooky waking up with a pair here. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate it, brother. And wow.
Check.
Pooky smashing this flop. How about a set of threes? Yep. He's going to try to string him along here. And a full house now for Pooky. And Christopher is not slowing down.
325. All in.
And all in, and just a quick fold. Christopher saying, oops. Jim doesn't have to show it. Full house. Big Jim Coyle. Nice hand, sir. Dory, handsome Andy. He's a generous young buck with that love. We appreciate the shout outs, though, buddy. Don't know if the storms have hit us. Any of our DFW folks, have y'all run into any storms yet out here in the DFW area? I heard we were in for some nastiness, but haven't heard it hitting our rooftop just yet here in Dallas. Be safe out there if you're out in these storms. I know the whole North Texas area up through Oklahoma had a little bit of a tornado warning or threat. I never know which is which. Big old flop for Pooky here. 99% equity.
110. Or 150, sorry, 150.
150 is the bet, and Pete's going to get out of the way. So Jim on a little heater here. Back-to-back hands for Jim Coyle. And he is our chip leader now. I think the blinds, RJ, are that kind of goofy 35, 70, 70.
Oh, I love those.
Oh, my goodness. 2 hands in a row. And now with kings.
Keep it going.
Wow, and this would be a bad time for Christopher to play back at him. Just going to call. Oh, and he flops top pair.
10,
Here we go, RJ.
5, 4.
Fireworks coming.
250.
Chris, just a call here with King 10. Ace of diamonds on the turn.
Jim does have the king of diamonds.
500.
Has the king of diamonds, able to bet out a little more here.
Wow. Shows the kings, and Chris is like, gosh.
Thank you, Ace, for Mr. Chris.
Yeah.
I didn't check raise the flop.
And you heard Chris there says, I'm glad I didn't check raise that flop. Yeah, that would have been bad business. Jim, 3 hands in a row. That's a hat trick, huh?
Hat trick. He's up to 2.7 million now. Building on his newfound chip lead.
Post break heater.
All right, now Chris has ripped it. Open shove with ace king. He's all in from the small blind there. Rod in the muck. We're 4-handed here, so these hands happening pretty quickly. And we have Mr. Fast Forward himself, Zeus, in the box, so that'll help. So 4-handed here. The players and the dealer, everyone moving pretty quickly. This could be a little Johnny Chop Chop. Handsome Andy was rooting you on tonight
He was.
for both those laps of the button, Eric.
I'm sorry I let you guys down. I tried.
All right, Rod raises it up here with 8 high, getting a little spicy. Pooky gonna see a flop with him. Ace 10, 7-8 lands middle pair and a gut shot for Rod.
Hot rod.
We've seen middle pair and a gut shot do some damage tonight. This time Rod able to continue and takes it down. Kiwi says they've been having some rough weather down her neck of the woods. Well, it is springtime here in Texas, so we're definitely getting our share of thunderstorms popping up this week. I think the next 2 or 3 days we'll have a line of thunderstorms come through. Our button is not registering here on the table, so usually that unique button and this unique fancy table get along just fine to where the graphics know exactly where the button is. Cards are in the air, back underway.
Yeah, and you will see a couple of these spots here where there's maybe a couple of tech difficulties that we're going to get through with you. Good old technology. Got a great production team that has to weather the storm sometimes when this tech on these tables decides to take a dump on us. Never cool.
Doesn't sound cool.
No. Some days you're the pigeon and some days you're the statue.
Man, speaking of that, the staircase in front of my door has some bird nests.
We need to get you some fake snakes or some owls put up there, huh?
Yeah, the bird nests have taken over that one particular spot, and oh my. I hope bird poop is good luck because it's everywhere.
We can come over and we can do a little bird roast. Put them in my what's that oven thing I told you I got that I was cooking in the other day?
Pete's going to rip it here, by the way. Back to the oven in just a minute because Pete has ripped it with ace queen, and Rod makes the call with pocket fives. So our man Pete here is going to be at risk
Air fryer. That's what it was.
Air fryer is the word you were looking for.
Well
Done.
And speaking of air fryers, Pete's going to try to cook up a big pot here as he is at risk. Got a lot of friends and fans in the chat.
9-9-8, no help for the ace queen, but picks up some outs here. 7-8-9, ace or queen.
12 outs.
Jack
No.
of hearts. That is none of the above. Pocket fives are going to hold here.
Yeah.
And get an elimination for Rod. Big pot for Rod, but our man Pete is out.
Shout out to Pete. Heck of a run.
I kept trying.
Yeah, we're four-handed, so Pete has made it all the way up to a fourth-place finish tonight. Prize of $3,130. And it's good to see Pete again on our final tables, I think. I got to visit with Pete just a few moments ago.
Okay.
And, yeah, he's a great dude, so it's an easy guy to root for.
Absolutely.
And we love seeing him do well. So
I had,
nice job,
I had
buddy.
a lot of fun at the table right before the final table with Pete. He was a couple spots over to my right, and then I talked to him on break a little bit. Shout out to Pete's fam, the wife and kids, and, of course, all his buddies and oil field coworkers grinding it out there in West Texas. Big shout out to Pete. Hard-working man.
I'm going to try to move this without messing up. All right, so we are now down to our final three contestants today. Mr. Pooky, Christopher, and Rod. Players are locked up a prize of $5,150.
Fives is the hot hand now. Christopher ripping it with the fives there. That's a couple of knockouts with small pairs that Rod has gotten through. He got the knockout of AJ with the fours that held.
Yeah, fours
and then
and
then
fives coming
fives.
through strong for Rod.
Fives delivering a knockout blow. And how many times do we wake up with Jacks plus that we can't get those to hold?
Right.
Gene couldn't get those kings to hold earlier. The nines got him.
Yeah, Chris definitely the beneficiary of some strong run good early. Finding that set of nines against kings, obviously one of the big ones.
Yeah, that was a
And
big
then
old pot.
Rod benefiting from the fours holding and the fives holding. So it's no surprise. You see a little run good for some players that can play a little bit, and they're down to the final three now.
All right, we mentioned getting down to two-handed, what the over-under might be. We had 182 and 120, I think, put out there. We're at hand 90, and we're down to three-handed.
Those
So
guys are crazy.
look, I'm thinking the under. Call me crazy, but I'm thinking we may get
Yeah, we
the
could
under. 128, I think, was the
Yeah.
lowest we saw.
We're likely to see an under at 100, perhaps. So these chip stacks have leveled out a bit here, so we don't necessarily have to see a knockout here in the next 10 hands.
This is that spot everybody loves. You got to get your driver's license out because you're about to win some big money.
Pay grades.
Pay grades are jumping, and Uncle Sam wants his chunk.
Congrats on the podium, gentlemen.
3, 2, and 1. There's the chip leader Rod, followed by Pooky, and then Christopher now our shorty. Kind of unfamiliar territory for him at this final table.
Yeah, spent most of the final table with the chip lead, and now here we are. The other two players have kind of zoomed by him here a bit as they've been the beneficiary of some knockouts. And Rod now the chip leader. Each of our three remaining players have had the chip lead at some point here at the final table.
There we go. Kiwi letting us know that she said 113, but she's even thinking it's going under that now, and that she's about to head into winter down there in New Zealand.
And that's awesome to hear that in the chat.
Shout out to any other Kiwis chiming in from New Zealand. Beautiful New Zealand. One day I will get down there.
Our friends from the bottom hemisphere.
Big words, RJ.
We got friends all over the planet,
We
man.
do. We do. I know we'll have our buddy Atink on Tuesday night. I'm not sure if he's chimed in tonight in here, but he watches from Turkey, and we got Kiwi watching from New Zealand. Got some more folks from London and the UK. Some of our European friends, but yeah. Let us know where you're watching from tonight as well. I know we got friends all over Texas.
Wow, Kings are making a record appearance tonight.
They are. And look at this. Christopher playing it sneaky, trying to trap Jim. And wow, this may work as Jim is going to land top pair.
Queen Jack, top pair for Pooky. Chris checked the Kings pre-flop. And now Pooky checking top pair.
Okay, the action tracker is wigging out here. Give us a second. There we go.
Spade hits on the turn, possibly slowing things down as no player has a spade.
125.
Yeah, Christopher's not checking here. He's betting 125 with his kings.
Oh, showdown. Kings.
Wow.
There we go. And Jim very happy to see that spade on the turn to slow that pot down because it could have been a little rough.
Adam watching from table 24 over there. I walked by and saw you grinding it up. Hope you got a big old stack in front of you. Happy stacking, Adam. One of our favorites. Cayman Islands joining us. Heck yeah. Thanks, Allison, for letting us know.
Cheering on Jim as well.
Yeah, get some sun down there for us. Another place I want to visit one day. Beautiful Cayman Islands. And Mark Donovan, what's up, my man? That's right. Cold call loses the men. Ooh. That looks like a shippy longstocking there with Christopher. Is he ripping it? Looks like it. All in. Rod looks very uncomfortable knowing that he's going to have to put 1.5 million in the middle if he wants to make this call with just King 10.
King 10 of clubs.
Yeah, nice job of Chris here, changing it up a little bit short-handed as he's playing a little more trappy, going with some check raises and some checking the kings, you know, going into a flop. I like it. That's how you can win some tournaments. Probably not in every book that you've read, but I'm cool with it. There's different ways to skin a rabbit. Yeah, what makes a cold call?
When you haven't put any chips into the pot and you just call the raise, that is a cold call.
There you go. That's what I was trying to say.
You got none of your own chili out there already, and you just make a cold call when it's been raised. And there is the lovely Miss Rebecca Thompson. I'm sorry that I'm not still on this final table for you to cheer me on, as I know you would. That is our favorite gal, TCH ambassador, host of our Big O games here in this room.
That's right. You can find that room here. What days?
Tuesday for Big O. And Thursday now they're doing a little drama.
That's right. That's the one I was looking for. Drama Hall on Thursdays, Tuesdays Big O. Come hang out with Becca Thompson.
In the group. They got a fun group out there. Spicy little flop here. Middle pair. Christopher's open-ended. And Pooky's got to feel good about his 10 now that another jack has landed.
175.
Rebecca letting us know that Dramaha game on Thursday has been fire. What time do you guys kick off that Dramaha game, Rebecca?
Ace of clubs here. That gives Pooky the check mark. Faded all outs for that open-ended draw of Chris.
Yeah, I thought Chris might fire something out there.
Chris feeling like jumping out there, that ace on the river, but it helped Pooky. So now Mr. Jim's going to be in a quandary.
Front door clubs do come in. The jack's still a little scary. Yeah, I think this is going to be a call from Jim, but let's see.
Yeah, scary spot here.
Makes the call and going to get the good news that his ace-10 is good.
And a nice bet there from Chris. I mean, typically that is a good spot to do that. You know your opponent's probably not likely to have the jack and the club come out, the ace come out. You're more likely to scare your opponent than them have it. But in this particular situation, Pooky's got it.
Yeah, the ace definitely helps. Pooky might have made the call just with the 10, but that ace definitely helps. Well played there, Jim.
Yeah, big pot there for Pooky. He's up to 2.75 million. Rod, ace 10. Let's see. Rod's ace 10 is going to be in the big blind here, so we'll get to that in just a moment.
Yeah, the action's going crazy right now. Technology. Christopher all in with the ace-5 suited and call from our ace-10.
Oh, hello.
Could this be the hand that gets us down to heads up?
Escalated quickly. Ace 5 versus ace 10.
Christopher at risk.
5 in
Wow.
the window.
Lands a 5.
Needed it and found it.
6 for a chop.
6 will chop. Deuce will chop.
8 will not. And Chris with a suited ace. Not in good shape pre-flop, but lands that 5 on the flop, and he's going to get the full double.
Here we
Now
go.
flipping spots there with Rod. Rod's now the short stack.
Well, we mentioned earlier that Chris has found some spots to run good, and that's another one. Needed to find a 5 and found it right on the flop. No waiting, no problem. Full double up for him.
Can't spook pook. Says 0 tolerance. Chip's been going back and forth. It is a fun one.
Yeah, the Dramaha game is fun to deal as well. I don't know all the versions of games that they'll play, so sometimes they'll help me out. Just tell me, what they need or whatever. But Dramaha's the fun one because I can kind of get into it as I deal it.
Raise. 160.
Tourneys are brutal. We love the pain. That's what's cool about tournaments. Man, you get into this situation and find a card like that or need a card like that, or even when you're on the wrong side of it and you take a card like that. I mean, tournaments are cool. But I'm kind of psycho. I take a card like that in a cash game and it boils my blood. I take a card like that in a tournament situation and I just feel like the competitive spirits, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Those are pretty comfy chairs for sure. Definitely a different plane at this table. The rail's a little bit higher up. We normally have those lights working. They haven't been working lately there around the bottom of the table. Looks like just a white strip, but those are actually lights that'll tell players to rescan their cards or if the action is on them, but hope to get that rectified soon. All in for Christopher.
I love it. Chris has not played scared tonight. He's ripped it a few times with some medium ace holdings, and it has worked out pretty well for him usually. And even in the last one, when he did find an opponent with a better ace, he was able to wiggle out of it.
Awesome. Yeah, Rebecca, I saw that online. I saw him going into the final table, and that's great news. We had Sean Rice, who's a buddy of Rebecca Thompson. He came and played on our Big O stream recently. Had Greg Vale doing the commentary with me in here, but Sean Rice was playing here, and he is just taking second place in the Tournament of Champions in L.A.
Ooh,
at the Bicycle, I believe it was.
that's a nice one.
Congrats to Sean Rice.
Well done, Sean.
Friend from West Texas, Lubbock, I believe.
L-Town.
And didn't get to see all that shenanigans, but that looked like
Mark's
Pooky
saying the
folded.
same thing.
Pooky folded a 5-4 there. I believe there was an ace. And Christopher's holding, so this has got to be that spot that was driving our production team crazy. We're starting to have a little glitch or two. Yeah, I remember when Sean played on our Big O stream, I was like, I know I've seen this guy before, and I looked back, and it was like 2004 or something. I saw him on TV on ESPN, a WSOP event that he made a final table at, and he's just a very recognizable guy. It's awesome to see him on our stream, and then, of course, now getting a nice second-place score in a big tournament out there in California. Texas poker players, baby, just crushing it out there.
Crushing. It's what we do.
Speaking of crushing, Rod, now our short stack, is going to raise it up with an ace. Any ace usually good for a raise, but Pooky's got 2 of them.
Hello, aces.
And look what he's doing. Sneaky, sneaky.
And he's going to be sneaky. Rod's not going to connect, but he does have 2 overs and the ace of clubs.
200, and Rod's like, you're not going to push me around. I got an ace. Little does he know. Rod is going to check it over to Jim, and now Jim's going to drop the hammer, put the big bet out there.
The hammer is brought. That is 600,000.
Ain't no little hammer either. Shows him the aces. And he's going, goodness gracious. Thank goodness a case ace didn't hit.
Yeah, both times three-handed that a player tried to trap with the big pairs. Got a little bit of a dangerous flop, but no real excitement.
Zero Tolerance says, hey, commentators, how long have you guys been playing poker, and have you ever hit a royal in Hold'em? Well, I believe I started playing somewhere around 2005-ish.
Oh, yeah,
somewhere around there is when I really started playing Hold'em, and I just hit my first several royal flushes, courtesy of Texas Card House, when this place opened here in Dallas, and I found out about it. Before I was an employee, I hit 2 in a matter of just a few months, and I've now hit another. Last week I hit 1. That was just a 1-card one, though. It didn't feel as good because I only had just the ace and ran a royal flush, but I've got all the suits now except for spades, so I've got to hit the spade royal flush. But, yeah, I've been playing for, what is that, 20 years almost, or 18 years or something
20.
before I finally hit a couple, or I think it was 16 years before I hit 1. And now I've got almost all of the suits, and I've hit 1 in PLO as well. They are fun. But, man, it's hard to get paid off when you got a royal flush because your opponent usually doesn't have much when you got it all.
Chris here going to land middle pair with 6-5. Battle of the blinds here. Yeah, Tolerance. I started around the same time, been playing about 20 years, and definitely, I don't know how many royal flushes I've had.
Have you got all the suits, or do you even remember?
No, I don't know that. That would take, like, brain power.
You've had a couple beers since then?
Yeah. I've probably had 4 or 5 live Hold'em royal flushes, one of which I flopped at a place. I think I've shared this story before. I flopped it at a place that gave you 1% of their bad beat jackpot if you happen to flop a royal flush. And that bad beat jackpot was up to 175 grand or something. So, by golly, when I flopped that royal flush with ace 10 of spades, they brought me $1,700 for it. So that was pretty cool.
You probably didn't get paid much in the hand, though, did you?
No. Which is also a cool little story, but...
Oh, that's gross. Quad aces losing to a royal flush from Maxwell. Ugh.
Yeah, in the hand, I was playing in a lame game, and I was stuck, and I was kind of cranky. The game was not very active. I'd raised probably 10 hands in a row, just trying to get this game going a little bit in a stuck, steaming situation. I was facing a limper. I was in the big blind. I jacked it up for my 15th hand in a row or whatever it was with my ace 10 of spades. He called with pocket fives, flop a royal flush. We check it down so I can get the $1,700 payout. And there was barely enough money in the pot to bring the payout.
Goodness gracious. And Maxwell, that happened to you in Hold'em, not in Omaha? I've seen a couple of those live Omaha hands where somebody hit quads on a river or on a turn, and the player had already had a straight flush or a royal. That's just almost seems normal in that
Shout
game.
out to Lamb Chops, by the way. We need to go to
Yeah.
New Zealand to have dinner one of these days.
Yep. Kiwi always shares those recipes. She says lamb chops in an air fryer are yummy. Rip City from the ace-5, and Rod's probably going to go with this one. Yeah.
Rod does go with it. King Jack suited.
King Jack suited. Cards are live. Suit is live.
So
Rod
these
is
two,
at risk.
These two have had a fun battle all night. Going at it again.
106. Hand number 106.
Ace, King, 9. 1 spade. Pair for both players. Another
Ooh.
spade. Hello.
13 outs. One time. There
Spade
it is.
ball. Wow. Wee-wah. Rod finds it when he needs it.
Call him Hot Rod.
Hot Rod goes running spades to take out the ace-5 of Christopher.
And swapping spots again.
Nice double up, a massive double up here for Rod.
Yeah, what a hand there for Rod. Yeah, the first royal flush I hit was a heart variety, and a guy had flopped a set of aces, and I just couldn't fold the freaking royal flush draw. I had the gutter ball to the royal, and it was just enough money for me to not be able to fold, and I banked that one, and then I flopped one over on table 15 in the back corner. No, excuse me, it was table 10. Flopped one with jack 10 of clubs, flopped the royal. A guy bet into me, and then checked. Of course, I have to check the turn to try to get paid on the river, and I put like a $50 bet on the river, and he says, "Your ace is good." And I about vomited. I was like, my ace is good.
I remember you told me that story.
I got a royal, homie.
Yeah, I think I had a royal here maybe less than a year ago. Just a regular tournament, piddling around in a tournament. In those middling level 6 or whatever, where I got to bet 800 and he calls royal. He's like, oh, that's good.
That's good. You're like, can you beat that? Yeah, it's rare. Oh, you just hit your first one. Awesome. $34 sounds about right, man.
Yeah, it's hard to make money on those.
Rod is going to come out swinging here. Both players hitting a pair. Pooky, of course, has the ace. Rod's going to slow down wisely.
150.
And Rod is going to kind of go into check call mode. Needs to
Hang
improve.
around here with that 10-5. It is hard to make a pair.
Three-handed especially.
Yeah, I can't blame him for continuing here three-handed.
Oh, he's going to look him up and find out the bad news. Jim is good there.
Didn't believe Spook. Pooky, pardon me.
Yeah, my royal flushes are still kind of fresh in my
Spooky
mind.
is our
'cause
Tuesday night player.
they have been within the last couple of years. But
I'm old.
all right, we had a question again about what's at stake here. Third place, 51.50. Second place, 87.35, and the big prize up top, 13,465. That's what we're playing for here, folks. Thank y'all for engaging in the chat. Been a really fun night engaging with you guys and gals. I am Eric Van Lusen. Of course, RJ Dupree was in here at the start by himself because the knucklehead sitting to his left was actually at this final table, but we busted out ninth and got to join you after about
That's all right. Baby steps, baby steps.
maybe 30
We
minutes.
always said we're going to have a final table where one of us get to commentate for the other one, and we've had that. It happened today.
It did happen today.
And
Womp,
ninth
womp,
place
womp.
finish, a little disappointing, but baby steps. Next time, we're gonna make a deep run at the final table. It's happening. I'm proud of you, buddy.
All right, Christopher and Rod going to a flop here.
Check.
Who wants to take a stab at this pot? Probably will take it down.
125.
Yeah, it's interesting, as you watch these final table streams, you see the ninth place person go out.
Me.
And a lot of times they only played an orbit or two or even less, 3 or 4 hands, first hand sometimes, whatever. But you don't realize the quality work each and every one of these players did to get here.
Absolutely.
Especially in today's field. We were looking at, 167 entries.
Oh, for sure.
So
we paid 20 spots today, and it was a grind for me just to make it to the money. Once we made it to the money, then I was much more comfortable starting to get my stack in, and got a couple double ups to help me survive all the way to the final table. But yeah, these fields are good. You see a lot of the same players. We've got great tournament players that play regularly here, and our even bigger one, which is the multi-day that's coming up at the end of this month. We have not had somebody that's won that multiple times. So that's something that you guys and gals should definitely look into if this price range, about $300 for a tournament, is where you're comfortable, because you can turn that 300 into 60 grand plus.
Woo!
If you
I haven't won
run
it yet.
good.
I haven't won it yet, so maybe
I
need
haven't
to.
either. I finished 19th in one, and a lot of smaller cashes and some others. So that is the big one that you want to jump in for sure, and that's coming up starting on the 27th of this month, the even bigger one.
Yeah, Mr. Bill Poker says he's waiting on me to deal him that royal flush. By the way, while we're checking out all kinds of stuff, Christopher has ripped it with pocket kings.
Yeah, these two have been battling.
Rod tried to sneak in that limp, or no, he did raise. Pardon me. Rod raised from the button. Chris has jammed it here from the big blind.
Yeah, and we all know Queen Jack is a pretty strong hand,
And
three-handed,
he's loaded.
but you can only be hoping to be up against a small pair here if you're going to call. And he gets the bad.
He does make the call.
He gets the bad luck.
Queen Jack calls it. So Chris,
no small pair.
Whew.
No small pair for Christopher. He has got the Cowboys.
It's a big pair.
And you saw that reaction there from Rod, slamming those cards down. He's going to need some help.
Ace 5, 6, not finding it. He's down to running. That is not it. Kings are going to get the double up.
And there you go. That should do it for Rod. Rod is going to be our third place finisher. Great job for Rod. He is going to finish third place out of 167 and take home that Van Halen prize, 5150. Shout out to Mitch Lloyd there, his favorite guitar player, Eddie Van Halen. 5150 is the prize for Rod. Great job, buddy.
Nice job, Rod.
And there you go. Hand number 112, Kiwi. Nailed it almost.
Nailed it.
She said 113, I think.
She knows what's up.
That was hand 111. That's what it took to get us down to heads up.
Zero Tolerance asked another poker question. Have I folded kings in a cash game? I've done it twice. Once I knew the person had aces. Where she's like 7-bet and then hasn't played in a month. The other one, super nit player, goes 4-betting me. Hasn't played in probably a couple hours. And I was racked up. And you know what I did with my kings when I was racked up? I just folded them. And he showed me jacks. I was like,
I've folded kings twice. Nice hand there for Pooky there.
I was so ready to leave, though. I was just like, I'm not messing with this in this spot. Like, I'm racked up. I'm leaving. I'm going to eat. Whatever I'm going to do, leave me alone.
I've folded them twice. I was right once, just like you. And the other time I was wrong. It was queens. But he sure looked like he had aces. And I've known a few other times that I was up against aces, and I'm just like, I'm not folding ever again.
Sure. Yeah, we've had a few of those.
I'm not going to do it.
All right, so we're down to Christopher and Pooky. Third place finish there for Mr. Rod.
RJ Kelly asking, do they ever chop these? Very rarely. These are some pretty experienced tournament players, too. So
RJ Kelly, my cousin.
Much better than R. Kelly. We like RJ Kelly.
RJ. My fellow RJ. Brethren.
Pooky flopping top pair here. And going to take that down. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't say never, or extremely rare.
I'd give it 50-50.
These players sometimes will chop, depending. Often it'll be an ICM chop, which, if you've looked at the ICM model, that's something you want to Google because it's very detailed, but it has to do with how many chips that you have compared to what you're playing for. But very rarely will you see, an even chop in these big tournaments. Players like these big scores. And, of course, there's that extra prize. You get a coin that says TCH Tournament Champion.
That's right. Texas Card House trophy for every daily tournament one here. You get that cool card protector. And it's a nice one. Nice little coin.
Got to play with my gal pal Liz today, and she had hers out there on the table.
Very cool.
Beautiful Liz, one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah, very close in stacks here. 3.0 million for one player, 3.5 for the other as they just take turns swinging those 400,000 chips.
Yeah, neck and neck here. 3 million and 3.57 million. Jim Coyle, no stranger to final tables, and nor is our seat 5.
Still rocking that sweet hoodie.
Yeah, those colors just are good looking, man. Whoever made that hoodie.
240.
All right. Speaking of Jim Coyle, well, we got some premiums here for heads up. This could be a mess. Pooky going to raise it up. Ace King, big slick on the button. Chris makes the call with King Jack. And holy moly, we get a flop. King Jack 3 on the flop.
Are you kidding me?
And it's going to be firework time.
Well, you said it might end in a bluff gone wrong. This is just disaster for Pooky. Dominating hand. Heads up. Ace King versus King Jack. You flop top pair.
Chris going to check raise here, wasting no time. Pooky's going to raise back. All in it is.
He has to call.
We're doing it.
And this could be it, folks. Christopher got Pooky covered. Pooky at risk here with the Ace King.
Top 2 for Chris.
There are 3 aces
Ace
left
King in trouble.
in the deck. Could hit a queen now.
Deuce of
my
spades.
goodness.
No help for Pooky. And that will be a tournament winner for Mr. Christopher. King Jack takes out Big Slick.
Soul crushing indeed. Big Slick is no longer Big Slick.
Wow,
Well, great job, everybody that played in this tournament today. Our dealers, Zeus here, dealing out that final hand. You see the handshake there. Jim Coyle, always a gracious player in defeat. Hard to beat, but he is always gracious.
Well, Chris played outstanding today.
Yes,
and
he did.
He did find some run good in situations like this, but you got to play good to be able to take advantage of that. And by golly, he did that. He took advantage all the way to the first place finish. 13,465. Nice job for Chris. And shout out to our man, Mr. Jim Coyle, finishing today in second place. Sweet run for him. That's a prize of $8,735.
Yeah, great job, Jim, and shout out again to everybody who played in this tournament today. We had a blast. We've got a cash stream coming up on Tuesday night. There is RJ Dupree. I'm Eric Van Lusen. Had a blast tonight. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and those of you who rooted me on as I finally made one of these final tables. RJ is going to be next.
Final table appearance right here for Mr. Van Lusen.
He's going to make one soon, but we had a great time tonight. Wanted a deeper run, but it was a really fun day. So thank y'all again for all the shout outs and making this fun. Tune in on Tuesday night. We're going to have a really fun 5-5 game.
I'm looking
with
forward
some
to
familiar faces in our TCH rooms here. They're going to be drinking and having a blast, and we'll be here on Tuesday night doing that.
Old school poker.
We'll see y'all next Saturday for another bigger one, and then remember, at the end of this month, starting on the 27th, we'll have all the flights coming for the even bigger one, RJ,
That's right.
the Mas Grande.
One more week of the big one, and then the Mas Grande at the end of the month. Go Stars, go.
Go Stars, go,
We'll
baby.
see you guys Tuesday night. I'm RJ Dupree, Eric Van Lusen. We out.
Peace.